What is up, everybody? It's Saturday night. Welcome to the pub. I say that every week, and it's not Saturday night. It's Friday night. Welcome to the odd night of Friday night. So it's hard for me to, remember that it's not Saturday night when you say the same thing over and over again. So it's Friday night. Welcome to the pub. I hope everybody is doing well. We've got 2 people watching. Which is standard for a Friday night. Why does it look so dark back there? Strange. Anyways, it's a pleasure to have you 2 that are watching here. And I might just jam for a little while on the guitar and see if people start showing up. Let's get those voice settings right. Just came from watching Randy over. He is still live, and it is quite a show that he puts on. And I wouldn't blame you if you wanted to go watch him shred, because he's a good player. Last Dance, what's up, buddy? First comment. Thanks for being here, man. Appreciate you. You're the best. Lots to cover tonight. And I hope we get a crowd, buddy. You never know. It's like Friday nights can be totally all over the place. So you never know. Just yesterday morning, they let me know you were gone. Susan Huntington put an end to you. Walked out this morning and I wrote down this song. Just can't remember who to send it to. I've seen fire and I've seen sunny days when I thought would never end. I've seen lonely times when I could not find a friend. But I always thought I'd see you again. Obviously, I'm not a singer, but gotta love a little bit of James Taylor. Good stuff, man. Great song. And I'll pick up the guitar a little bit later once more people show up, if they show up, or I could just play now. Give them a chance to show up. I know people like that. Let me kill the fans, and we'll get to chatting here. That song was written about his friend who chose to no longer be alive, if you know what I mean. And it came as a shock to everybody who was her friend. And it's a sad song. It's a poignant, sad song. It's a great James Taylor tune. He's got a lot of them. Absolutely a huge fan. And yeah, look at this, Taylor Swift. I don't mind her, but I don't like her music. You know what I mean? The one song I actually like of hers is the song that Smokesteve does not like of hers, and it's called Shake It Off. And it's directed towards all the haters, and I thought that was cool that she wrote a song towards people who are constantly hating on her. And, hey, she's an incredible businesswoman. She's good musician. It's not my style, but she satisfied a lot of people with her music. So, hey, more power to her. No problem there. Just, I don't like anything but that one song. And I haven't heard another one yet that I like. And we do have the concert, which gets put on occasion. And I think it's the Eras Tour concert. The only part I like is Shake It Off. So, hey, what are you going to do? I think our dubs is A-OK. From the detrimental stuff, flooding and whatnot. Yeah, right. If you're a hater, then you got to listen to it. It's funny. She says, people say, got nothing in my brain. That's what people say, and I don't know. I like it. And it was also in one of my favorite cartoons. I don't know how to explain what cartoon it is, but it's a movie called Sing, and it's got all kinds of cool songs in it. Elton John, Taylor Swift, Billy Joel, and they're all covered by these animals in this weird musical genre, but it's pretty good. Pretty good movie. I highly recommend it, especially if you have kids. Sammy Cat, how you doing? Good, good. Um, Sammy Cat back from her trip, feeling good, I'm sure. But we'll have a lot to go over tonight, including but not limited to the economic plan that's being laid out by both presidential candidates. I'd like to pick that apart a little. Maybe with a little help from wife if she happens to be here. I know she's got some things going on upstairs, so whatever. All good either way. What's going on in the Middle East? Very important. Also, the recent visit to the United States of Ukraine, the leader of the Ukraine, Zelensky, and his meetings with our current president and the two presidential candidates. All of that stuff, I think, would be good to cover. Make sure I'm not missing anyone here. East One Farms. Cheers to you, my man. Thanks for being here. Cup of tea. Not sure if I said hi or not, but hello. Yeah, RW Last Dance. Everybody cool. 6 people here. All right. I mean, it is what it is. It's a Friday night. Nobody knows we're doing this. So I didn't announce it last week, even though I knew. I forgot about it during the pub. And yeah, that's the downfall of it. I'll see if I'm going to at Lee and see if he's around. He gets him or message him or whatever. I think I have him on here. Maybe I don't. Thought I did. Interesting. Okay, I don't. Thought he was a Twitter guy. Nope. I must be mistaken. Well, if you guys can at Lee, let him know we're here. Last Dance RW. I think Last Dance you probably can on the Discord. He may get that. Topple always. Always topple. That's all I'll say about that. Yeah, we can get Welshie in here at, a little bit later. Bandy, a little bit later. Topple, of course, always. Topple's an OG. He's a live leaker. And he's my dog. I do like him. So, yes, there's your answer. give a few more minutes to see if anyone shows up. Then I'll do a little ditty on the Git fiddle, and then we'll get some people on here. Got my old college buddy coming by tomorrow. You people know he's there's Bottle Cap. All right, I was waiting for you, man. You know he comes by every 4 to 6 weeks. We have a selfie in here that he okayed for the pub. Boom! There he is. And he always says about that picture, damn, you were exhaling, and now, you know, he like wants it to be that we're both exhaling. But hey, you know, them's the breaks, bro. That's the brother from another mother who's coming out tomorrow. You know, we always come up with these grandiose plans. We're going to go out, paint the town red, yada, 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 sushi, this, that, the other. He gets here, we just end up talking, and then I fire up the grill. The drinks start flowing, and, you know, we just, you know, grill and chill. That's what men do as you get older, I guess. An update is I actually have a decent bar within walking distance, which we can do at, like, you know, 9 o'clock, go down for a quick drink, walk home. Probably won't, but it's always an option, which is nice. Jason Godet, good day, T silent, not sure, but thanks for being here, man. Let's get rid of that on the screen. So otherwise, I'll leave that thing up there for the whole pub and forget about it. Good to see you, brother. Everybody, yeah, thanks for being out. 12 people. All right, cool. Anyone else who's not saying hi or who's not in the chat, hello to you too, and thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. Positive energy for everybody. Cheers. All right. I'm in Massachusetts, brother, so we're close. I think, have you been on here before? Has he been on here? I don't know. All right, well, I'm going to do a jam and then get you guys all on here live, so just do that. He's drinking twisted tea. Okay. Let me kill the audio cancellation stuff and just do a quick jam. All right. Cool. Good to see you. East Wind, you've been here before too. All right. We're going to get Last Dance on here while I fix the sound. How are you, man?
All right. Happy Friday.
Same to you. Though when you're retired, I know Fridays still feel a little bit better, but it's still kind of just another day, right?
Pretty much, yeah. I actually, Fridays, I don't know. It's going to be hardwired into me for the rest of my life. But Friday and Saturday are days of relaxation, even when I'm
Right.
retired. And Sunday is a day of anxiety because the weekend is coming to an end.
Oh, no shit. You get it on the back end? You still get the
Yeah,
Sunday scaries?
yeah, I do.
Holy fuck. I thought that would be gone immediately after retirement.
Maybe it's just me, but yeah, I still do.
That says to me that you had a lot of pressure in your working environment, especially on Mondays, obviously.
Yeah,
I mean, for me, the pressure is there every day. It's all about compartmentalizing it and, saying, screw that. No worries. Yeah, we'll get you on here, Jason. I just kind of go one at a time, get a little chat going. Thank you for the awesome jam, Jason, too, by the way. Yeah, pretty wild storm, huh?
yeah.
I mean, that thing increased in size like rapidly.
Yeah, it was. It got big in a hurry, and I was wondering if we would get much rain from it where I am. I think we got some. We had we didn't have very much in terms of downpours, but it was just steady rain from storms coming up from the south. Now, I don't know if you got the same thing or not, but
I mean, today was like 80 degrees and bright sunshine. It was
okay,
absolutely spectacular.
yeah, we got rain, 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 rain.
Uh,
It looks like there's some dam that's going to burst or has burst in North Carolina.
from what I understand, that's the southern portion of the state.
Yes.
But yeah, it doesn't. There's more going on with this. It's a weird one. I've already seen a ton of conspiracies about it, conspiracy theorist stuff coming out, and about rapid intensity and people thinking that it was. Have you heard any of this?
No, and it doesn't particularly interest me, these conspiracy. What are they saying? It was cloud seeded or something?
Yeah, I don't know. You're right. When my niece started her freshman year at college down there on the East Coast side, not the East Coast, the West Coast side, the Gulf side, she went into the ocean and she was telling us that it was pretty much like a hot tub. Like when you put your foot into a hot tub and the water feels very warm, that's what the ocean is like. You transfer that type of energy into a hurricane, it's going to be astronomical,
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, just let's get this guy on here. There he is. What's up,
Well,
Shiny?
hello, everyone. I'm coloring. Let's see what I don't know if it'll show up.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
Can't see it because of the AI, but yeah. And Dance, do you keep the Sabbath, dude?
No. What do you mean?
Oh, okay. You sometimes will come on and be like, "Happy Sabbath," and you're like, Fridays and Saturdays a day of rest." And I'm like, man, that's.
I have never said Happy Sabbath. I'll say Happy Saturday.
Yeah, it's awful close. That's what I was wondering. It's all good. Nothing against it.
All right. Before we get too started, let me just add in this new guy, and he'll be here and be quick on the button. Last answer.
Yep.
Jason Goddard.
Smokesteve. It's been a minute. I've joined you before.
I remember him.
Yeah, I thought I did.
DRW Last Dance. Good to see you. That was some killer jamming you did on that acoustic, man. You made me smile up, and no, you're killer on that. I'm just still learning.
Thank you. Is the T silent or is it like?
I really don't know. And you were saying that it depends if you're French. Apparently, it's a French last name, so it's good day, or I don't fucking know.
It's better than bidet.
I mean, I used to live in Vermont, and some of the locals who had French Canadian names changed the pronunciation to English. Like they'd call it Desjardins instead of Desjardins.
Yeah, I get that.
You know, it's not uncommon for Yankees to change the pronunciation, but you just go with whatever. You don't care.
Yeah, like, and I'm up in here in Canada. Like I said, I live in Prince Edward Island right now. I was born and raised in Toronto, so up in Toronto, going through school and all that shit. It was cadet. I come down to PEI. This is where the name originates from. It comes from France back in the wars and this shit. They turned it to Goody. Like, I don't know where you get Goody out of it, but oh, you're a Goody. I'm like, okay,
yeah, okay.
That's what I'm stuck with. So I don't know how to say it.
Yeah, just go with whatever. You're a laid back guy.
Exactly. I don't give a fuck. Say it how you want to. Cheers, brother.
Cheers.
Exactly.
And that was some awesome jamming. Damn, you fucking slicking that fucking strings.
Thanks, man. Yeah, that was all improv, and I liked the sound of it. So I'm gonna have to remember that one. Luckily, I can always go back and relearn it by watching my own video. You know.
Yeah, that's what's up. You're just looking her up any way you want. Hopefully, my cousin will come in here too. We started playing at the same time, but I'm so busy in life, you know. He's got time to learn it, and he got fucking good at it.
Can you play a lick on the banjo?
Barely.
Even
People
if it's terrible,
give me
man, it's no fun.
instruments.
I got to get a banjo.
Look at him here now. It's a uke banjo. It's a uke banjo. And apparently it's a lot easier because it's what, one string to do like a D chord, and
as long as the strings are far enough apart, yeah.
I don't know. That's
Just-
somebody bought it.
Play it open chord.
I don't have time.
Play it open chord.
Open chord.
That's an uke. That's an ukulele. That's not a banjo.
It's a uke banjo.
Right. I don't think I've never fiddled on one of those.
I know nothing about it.
My dog has fleas. That's all I can tell you.
Hell yeah, that's what's up. That's what I could deal with that.
It sounds cool. Yeah, I mean, definitely find some good tunings in there.
Are you from North Kakalaki?
Who are you talking to?
Yeah, Jason.
Me?
Yeah.
No. Prince
Okay.
Edward Island, Canada, East Coast.
Damn. You sound like all the locals from the foothills, man.
Ain't that some shit?
That's some
I don't know
shit.
where your foothills are coming from, but
I know you right.
That's what's up.
Yeah, I mean, you don't sound Canadian to what we think of as Canadians, hey? But
Hey,
it's cool. I mean, right on. Prince Edward Island. Apparently they got rednecks too.
we're going fishing tomorrow.
They have colonized the planet. What'd you think of that mullet calendar for your birthday, Steve? Is that a hard pass, or did you see that one?
Yeah.
Right
Not
behind
for
you in the
me.
garage there? I don't know.
Not for me, but
Oh, come on.
definitely funny.
Some dope.
Vermonters let you in behind them and then go 20 miles an hour for the rest of the day. That's funny. All right, Topple's here.
Yeah. Welcome, buddy.
Cool. Show him, turn his camera on, and you're on here immediately, Topple.
Topple.
He's a buddy. He's cool.
Topple. Okay.
Yeah, his name is
say-
symbolic for breaking down governments.
If my cousin does hop in, he'll come up as shirtless guitar guy, and yeah, he's fucking brilliant too on the guitar.
Cool, man. Right on. Glad to have him.
He doesn't do the YouTube shit, but he joins every now and then.
Cool. You pay much attention to American politics up there, Jason?
It's got to be
How,
hard.
how
not
can
to.
how can I not? Because I live on YouTube.
Right. Any inkling on which way you think it's going to go?
I see Trump getting back in, unfortunately.
You do, huh?
Yep, unfortunately, but I see it. But that could be wrong.
Yeah, I mean,
Everybody could be wrong, right?
yeah.
The polls don't lie constantly.
No.
Well,
Fuck the
I
fight,
think it's going to be tight, and I think it's going to be historic.
Did you see North Carolina took off like 750,000 invalid voters off the voting list?
I did.
No.
Did you hear any other state doing anything like that?
No, from what I heard, it was people who predominantly hadn't voted for the last two cycles. In the state, that takes you off of the voter. You have to re-register. Now, that's not in every state. And I don't think you should be required to vote. And I think taking a person off for not voting is questionable.
That's when you want to get back to the constitutional rights. Get back to the.
Yeah, your constitutional right to say everybody sucks. I don't want to vote this time. And then the next time you think the same thing. And then 4 years later, it's been 12 years since the first election you didn't vote in. You think, I actually want to make a difference this time. Then you go and they tell you, nope, you're not registered anymore. You didn't vote the last two times. We're taking you off.
I can't do that. Is registering different in the United States than here?
Well, in some states, if you register here in Massachusetts, you're registered until you change your registration or die.
Okay, so in Canada, when you file your taxes, that's part of your taxes. You determine whether you're going to be a registered voter next year. You're obligated to do your taxes every year. So Canada says, okay, you did your taxes. The last question: do you want to be elected for vote? Yeah, of course. What about that?
Exactly.
It's different than the United States. Is it different there?
It goes state to state. Like here, when you apply for a lot of different state things, they ask you if you would also like to register to vote. And like I said, once you register, you're in and you can vote every year as long as you don't change addresses. Other states are different, like RW just said. But another thing, RW, I don't want to make it seem like they only took off what I said. They also took off people who were dead and who had changed, like who had moved,
Honestly, I don't want dead people voting.
Exactly.
Fair. Unless they show their ID, right?
Yeah, man.
There's another thing that jumped out, though, on the feed just a couple hours ago. The Minneapolis Police Department just added the first non-citizen officer to their police force. I thought that was an interesting one.
You forgot the country.
Somalia.
Bingo.
I didn't even look into it yet.
So yeah, the biggest deal is non-citizen.
Right. Because that opens up the door, right? That's basically just pushing the envelope, or what is it? A big nothing burger? Like, what is it?
It's a something burger.
Okay.
I can't believe that. Why would you? I would think you would want law enforcement to all be citizens of the country.
But wait, but she must have a permanent resident alien green card.
I can look into it more if you guys
It's
want.
not the same thing as being a citizen.
It isn't, but unless there's a rule or a law that specifically says that, then a permanent resident alien green card is enough to get a job anywhere.
But if you get in trouble in the police force as a non-citizen, they just deport you and problem solved.
Well, yeah, because if a permanent resident alien gets like a DUI, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, so I think that sounds like a good burner system if you want a large police force that you can just burn and get rid of. That's very conspiratorial, I know, but put your seatbelts on.
I don't know. Did they take an oath to support and defend the Constitution? And if so, which Constitution?
It was like raka daka 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 daka. I swear.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's a good question, but Unless there's a law or a rule against it, then you're going to have to expect it to happen. I mean, obviously.
Hey, Martin. Good
We would
to
have
see
expected
you.
it to happen a while ago, though. That's all.
Yeah. Good to see you, Martin. Old friend. Great guy. Hope he's well. Hope you're well, Martin. Jump on here. Click your camera on. Do it. Do it. Do it. He's not going to do it. But if he does, he's instantaneously on solo screen.
Can a non-citizen carry a pistol according to law? I do not know the answer to that question.
In here?
In America. So can that police officer carry a pistol?
Yes.
Right. Is that
But that
above and
police
beyond-
officer can, but a non-citizen is a different question.
Right, exactly. That, like, yeah. Once you're sworn in, like you're above the law.
Right. It's a good question about whether or not. I guess.
Yeah, I suspect they can. As long as they are legally in the United States, I suspect they can.
In the state of Vermont, all you need is a driver's license, and you can buy anything.
Right. I
So
don't even know what it is in North Carolina. Basically open carry. I don't even know if they care how you got it.
in the state of Massachusetts, you need to take a 4-hour class, and
Can I do it online?
no,
Dang.
it's live fire. One bullet
Right.
for 4 hours, and then you're a pro. That's
like
going to
a
make the
forklift license.
difference.
Yeah. The
The
bullet
whole
comes out of
class,
this
they
thing.
tell you, don't point the gun at anybody ever. Don't ever point. That's the entire lesson. I mean, what else is there to, how are they going to go through the entire industry and type of guns in that short period of time? It's got to be all just
It's all ticking boxes, red tape for sure.
exactly.
What was the meme that came out about a week ago that was making fun? It was like making it like a claymore where it said this side towards the enemy. Does that ring a bell for anyone here?
No.
Something stupid happened on the world stage. Never mind. Funniest thing I saw today was the UN guy from Haiti.
Oh, are you talking about that Navy guy who was, I don't know, he was posing with a rifle with the scope that was
No, not
mounted the
that
wrong
one, but that was
direction?
bad. Yeah, no,
Scope.
it wasn't that.
Scope mounted backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then the Marines put a guy up with scope mounted the correct way,
Never seen it.
totally ripping off a bunch of rounds like in the video. It's just great.
Mhm.
Good shit.
Me and I don't know when you guys want to get into heavier political stuff, but
But what was your point of that, RW? We got sidetracked by
there's
backwards
memes that came out where these people were putting like these claymores on the wall, but they weren't claymores. They were whatever this thing was that was real stupid on the world stage, and they were making it look like a claymore. It's a dead joke because no one here knows what I'm talking about.
Well, I know what a claymore is, but not the other thing.
Right. If I randomly think about it, I'll blurt it out like a crazy person.
I always loved the claymore mine. On the front of it, that it says point this side toward the enemy.
Yeah. Yeah, and the fact that they have to do that,
It's a small wall of lead BBs with a charge behind it.
Who
It
hasn't
just
played
looks
Counter Call of Duty? Like who hasn't?
I haven't.
I learned about
damn.
that in reading. I used to have a great book that was all the weapons used in Vietnam, and you could read that thing.
Now it's like
50 times.
Lego figurine characters are the books that they're after.
Crazy.
Have you guys? You're not getting hit by the storm at all, right?
I'm getting rain. I don't know how much of it is due to the storm.
It's got to be a wind.
It is pushing up from the south, so I assume the storm is somewhat behind.
And then your temperature going to drop by like 20 degrees.
Well, I hope so. It's been too damn hot and humid.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, for us, we're going down to the 50s now and the 40s by the end of the week. So
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, that'll be a nice change.
it's time to start cutting and splitting wood.
You got a splitter?
Yeah, we got a splitter. Once we we didn't rely on wood for anything but like burning outside for like parties and stuff. And once we started using wood for more stuff, we realized how valuable the hydraulic splitter is.
Oh yeah. One person runs the splitter at a time. Hard and fast rule.
I mean, we've been doing 2 people. One person works the lever, and then they take it all the way back, and the other person's flicking the wood and putting it on. You have to trust the person, though.
Fuck you do? Test wood stoves for a living?
Wood
No.
splitters.
Use wood stoves, though.
I got a video for you, but
That's funny, man.
yeah, I got a funny video for you.
Sure, bust it out. Put it in the private chat. I'll show it.
Yeah, brother. Like, it's
But
funny.
what do you get? What do you you don't buy wood then, RW, or do you?
No, we just had 3 trees come down, but they're all pine from
Yeah, you can't-
the hurricane.
That's no good for inside wood.
No, that's outside bonfire stuff.
What do you have for how many cords of like cherry, oak, maple? Good stuff.
I mean, we're not buying any of it here. I'll be splitting. The last one I did was an oak that was like a 100-year-old oak tree that was on its side for who knows how long. It was perfectly seasoned. That was massive. That filled up like the whole woodshed.
That's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah. And that's when I ran over my chainsaw as I backed up with the ATV. That was a good experience. I
It
felt
was
like I
off.
just
It
pulled
was
an animal.
off, right? It was
Yeah, it
off.
was off when I put it behind the ATV. It's just a dumb move. And then like I'm gonna remember it, right? And that's not how it works. Don't put it down, you're gonna run over it.
And I know you, so you weren't high or drunk. You were just distracted.
Just forgetting one small detail, yeah. One very expensive small detail.
Oh man, I've seen it
Yeah.
before. Unfortunately.
Yeah. And I didn't
But I
even
was-
take it to the shop to ask them if they could fix it. It was foobard.
I saw it on a job site. I was smoking a bowl with a guy, and he had put his tools behind his truck. I'll never forget it. And we're baked and laughing, and and he gets in his truck and backs up to leave, and he ran over all his shit, dude.
I mean, mostly just the drill and stuff would be shot, but everything else would be okay, right?
Oh, he had it all in buckets, so it went under the middle of his pickup. So all the buckets like folded and were like, and I was like, no, stop. He got out and was like, fuck, nothing. I mean, he honestly, it was like the end of the day, he threw his shit in the truck and just floored it and got the hell out of there.
Right. Hopefully they're all Craftsman tools and you can just hang his head low and hand him down.
And just as a caveat, this was like 20 years ago. I don't do that anymore. This is when I was a contractor. I worked for myself.
Right. I won't even remember the story in a few hours, so you're good, man.
That's awesome. Yeah, drop that link in the private chat. You guys want to check it out on your own time. It's fucking hilarious.
Will do. Got to go food shopping. What do you got to do after that? Wash the cat? I mean, come on. Who
He's
goes
out of
food
iced
shopping
tea.
at
That's all it
fucking
is.
8 o'clock on a Friday night? Come on, Top. Get on here.
He lives about 20 minutes from here. Like,
Grab a bottle of whiskey, peanut butter when you're out at the fucking
Peanut butter?
I think he likes that.
No.
I
Do
think
you like chase that with grape drink? Like what?
someone gave him like a lifetime supply of peanut butter whiskey, and I don't think
It's like
he's
one
finished
bottle.
going through it.
Ugh. You know,
I don't know,
April
but-
with like cartons of free beer.
Cart
Steve, what kind of guitar was that you had there? The other acoustic that you have? What name?
Alvarez.
Alvarez. Nice.
That's it's all
Is it like a jumbo or
this size. I think they call this a concert
concert style? Yeah.
because it has the cutaway. A jumbo would be no cutaway and be a little bit bulkier and fatter this way. It's not super thick, but it's got some girth. And the
Nice.
strings are kind
Yeah,
of
it
dead.
It's fucking gorgeous, man. You jammed that. You jammed that shit good, man.
Thanks, dude. Appreciate it. It's good guitar. I was not completely happy with it. To be truthful, there's a few problems. There's some buzzing on some of the strings when you play. Although on any acoustic, I feel like you're going to get it, but up high on like the thicker
Yeah.
I mean, you guys, I hear the tiniest little buzzes and it drives me crazy. I want like perfection. but it was $400. So I figure
At
I'm
that,
happy.
yeah, exactly. I was just like, as you were saying that too, like my cousin, I was hoping he was come up after. I first bought mine. That one's doing brilliant. He grabbed his. He got a $2,000 fucking Gibson of some sort.
Mhm.
Everywhere on it. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Brought it back. Okay, we'll tune it. Or, we'll set it up. Right back. Buzz, buzz, buzz. You guys
Mhm.
can take it back.
And did he get a warranty on it?
No, they took it back. He got his full money back. Like,
Oh, he got a
he
full.
was going to
full-
finance it, and you get up to like a month, to decide whether you get bringing it back. You got this buzz. Every fucking thing. Buzz.
Yeah,
What the fuck?
that's not right for a nice guitar like that. It shouldn't be that
Exactly.
way.
And I'm glad he brought it back because
Yeah, I got this through musician's friend. I tried to like bring it up with their warranty division, and then they like sent me an estimate for the cost to fix it. And
on a $400, I get it. You don't even have to go on.
right, so I just grabbed one of my tension rods and started playing with the neck a little. And what I also realized is different gauge strings help a lot with buzzing. The skinnier like shred strings that you use on like an Ibanez fucking hot shred guitar you need to use much fatter strings
Bigger strings.
on an acoustic. They vibrate less. They're under a higher tension.
Higher tension.
And they are harder to play. But, let's not forget, Stevie Ray Vaughan put 12s on his Fender Stratocaster, whereas the average player uses 9s or 10s. So he was using thick acoustic grade strings and playing all those crazy fast blues riffs. So, you're all capable. We're all capable of playing any gauge string when it comes
And
down.
Smokesteve, as a reminder to me, I'm always me. Don't forget me every time I come in. I'm a collector of beautiful instruments and this and that. But I work too fucking much to practice them. But when I seen that little girl there,
That's your J200, right?
you got her. Epiphone style. Limited
Nice
edition.
guitar.
She's a jumbo, but like I say, I'm still stuck with the A, D, G, E. I'm getting them, but my cousin, he's trying to teach me. He's like, Jay, fuck, I'm at work 10 hours a day about this thing. I like to drink, just chill with you and other people on the YouTubes and
Sure.
heading back to work again.
I would keep a guitar next to you.
Mm-hmm.
Always, like
Yeah,
mine's always within reach, and I'm always picking it up. And that's the biggest thing for me is to have it at my hand. And then on the weekends, if I have 40 minutes to play or 20 minutes to play, I'll sit down and really play.
Just fucking do it, I guess.
Exactly.
Fucking do it.
Take the opportunities, impromptu, and then when you have you can't be working every day. You must have a little time here and there.
I get the one day off, but I got the wife and the kids, and
Right.
it's fishing. It's fishing season, so
Yeah, I'm a fisherman too, man.
I'm
So
a little more critical. And tomorrow's the big fishing day. We're driving an hour from here. Striped bass are fucking. Oh man, really.
stripers are still hot up there.
Oh yeah. At least till the end of October.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm a striped bass fisherman myself.
Yeah, and they're good eating. We're doing the beach in Jude's Point, Tignish. Is where we'll be fishing tomorrow.
There you go.
Oh, she's a cutie.
Oh yeah, that was about 42.
Shit. Oh, you asshole.
3.
Like I haven't hit the 30 mark yet. We're getting them 28, 29.
That was a boat fish. Boat fish, you add, you get a little more leeway on the size. So boat, we use a sabiki rig and catch live mackerel. Then I throw the mackerel on a circle hook. We troll the mackerel around real slow. And the second I mark fish on the fish finder, We stop the boat, and the mackerel swims right to the fish, and fucking bam, hit every time.
Fresh bait.
It's a technique we found recently with using. We actually used the fish finder 3 years ago. The squiggly lines looked like a Chinese, a Japanese, foreign calligraphy. We didn't know what we were looking at. Now we finally, after staring at it for so many seasons, can finally read a fish finder, tell what's bait, tell what's the bass, and even tell what's like intermediate and giant fish. We've seen fucking what we think are either whales or sharks or giant ocean sunfish. And I actually got a video of an ocean sunfish recently on my YouTube channel.
And the turtles come around too.
Turtles, yeah.
Yeah, he's around too. We got a 200 fucking year turtle fucking swimming around. You know,
I can't imagine what a turtle mark.
Does sit there.
Turtle mark with it being round, its side view radar. What is that going to look like? It's going to look like a massive circle. I don't even know.
It just tells us where it's at.
Right.
You can get to see the detail of it. I'd love to see the detail of it, but
I remember the first generation of those fish finders. I remember my dad got one for his boat, and it looked like a Tamagotchi display. And I don't think it actually really worked. It just pretended that there was a fish every once in a while. So I'm guessing the technology's come a long way.
hate you, Tamagotchi.
Yeah, they have. There's a game. Even I watched some fishing YouTubers, and some of them are actually pushing dumb app game on the phone, which I've played before, and it's pretty lame. I'd rather like stare at the wall than play. I mean, you can play literally Call of Duty on your phone. Who's going to play this fake fishing game? You know, it doesn't really, make any sense to me.
I don't know. If you're bored enough and it's all you got. I remember Snake on the Nokias, man. That was a game.
I'll tell you, if you are bored and you can get Call of Duty Mobile. It's awesome.
I can't stand the controls. I can't do it.
Call of Duty Mobile?
The controllers, I probably wouldn't care, but
Steve, brother, thanks for having me up. Last Dance, RW. Good to meet you guys. Respect, bro. I'll come back anytime, man. Respect.
All right. You're always welcome. Peace,
Take
buddy.
it easy,
You guys
Jason.
have a good one.
What a good guy, huh? Wait, let's wait till he leaves, and now we'll talk shit about him.
Yeah.
Man, God day.
Right. No, I'm kidding.
Those
Good guy. Good
rednecks.
solid.
Yeah, no.
Canadian redneck. Northern redneck.
Prince Edward Island. That sounds nice.
What happened?
We got a Sarita sighting.
Sarita's here.
She's chilling on the couch. She just came down.
I just thought I'd join in the. Okay, my face. Okay.
Howdy.
Anyway, part of me's here.
We're working on a
Hello.
green screen, so that doesn't happen anymore.
Oh shit! It's our old dog, Biscuit Vapes. Cool. Sarita,
You're
hang
talking
around.
about
Hang around for a
Biscuit.
bit. Have your cup of chamomile with the dogs here.
Hey, Biscuit. Sorry you're dealing with the flu.
It's hot chocolate with the tiniest bit of coffee just for the smell.
Okay.
Mm.
Sarita's going to be
Wow.
up till 6 a.m., so we got a long night ahead of us.
I got a big book to read, so
Okay.
Well, there's an easy fix for that. Throw like 3 shots of rum in that cup of coffee, and then she'll be asleep in about 2 hours.
Hey, I've
2
never
hours,
had
probably
one.
15 seconds.
That's good.
It sounds disgusting.
And if it was me, I'd have like 9 coffees and rum, and then I'd be up at like 7 a.m.
Oof. That would be a interesting head feel. No thanks.
Yeah.
Oh, you're getting a cheers from Smoke Wife, just so you know.
What? Oh, hi. Oh, I'm somewhere here. Ah!
Thank-
Okay.
Have we ever gotten the spelling correct?
She got it correct there.
That is right. Okay.
That's not how you spell it.
Well,
Yeah, somebody else spelled it Sewrita.
that's a pun.
That's-
That's her. Go ahead.
Well, it's my screen name because I have a business, So Sarita.
She's a seamstress.
Right. I thought that was a pun because you're a seamstress. You are a one who sews.
Yeah.
Huh.
So
Okay.
I'll answer to either.
All right.
Well,
I got you. Cool. Mystery solved. Not that it's that much of a mystery.
Things are slow if that's what's entertaining tonight. Just saying.
It's slow. It's slow.
We're entertained by anything.
What do you guys want to talk about?
Wow, Last Dance. Looking at your DM right now. Do you still feel that way?
No, obviously not.
Okay, so that was at the beginning of our conversation with
Yes.
the new guy.
Yes, that's before he was on.
Okay. You know
Yeah,
what? He has been on before, and you were here, and I was here. You were on the Scotch, and I was on the rocks.
Yeah, I don't remember.
It's always embarrassing. I see somebody, and like, I feel like it's like Unsolved Mysteries, and the music in the background, and I'm like, I know I've seen this guy before, you know, but like I can't. So it should be locked into our memory now. I think that's 2 visits, Brian.
Yeah, we probably, if we were any good, we would maintain a roster of people we've seen. And
True, but
an image too.
we've already learned that names don't mean nothing because of YouTube. Apparently, you can change your name, how it comes
Well,
visible.
that's why I said and the image. But yeah, nothing's foolproof anymore.
Too much effort to do all that AI deep faking.
What did you say, Andy? What?
Who?
You Last Dance. You said Andy Amich or something. I didn't quite pick that up.
Am I not coming through?
No, he said end the image.
And
the image. And the image.
And the image, not end. And I get it now.
And.
I'm with you.
Okay.
Okay, right. I gotta grab beers and inspect the driveway. Can you guys come up with a new subject between the 2 of you?
Sure.
I mean, I can come up with stuff, but how spicy we want to get?
Bounce it off Last Dance. He's a good
No, I'm not good at anything.
I think.
Jewish people.
That's fine.
Oh,
If you mean those in Israel, yeah, that's.
yeah, mostly the ones in Israel right now. Just paying a lot of attention to the strikes that are happening. It was another heavy day.
Yeah.
Beirut got tagged pretty decently. And then I didn't see the damage done in Tyre, but apparently there's a Air Force strike in Tyre. And apparently Iran is now on high alert for their Air Force. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that's just like, saying something. Because Iran seems to have this vibe where like no one cares what they say. Like, hey, we're going to do something. Everybody's like, yeah, whatever.
I don't know. I don't try and guess what's going to happen next.
Oh, Smoke Wife wants to talk about Magic, like Magic the Gathering cards, magic mushrooms, what? Disney Magic, Harry Potter, the lady that passed away from Harry Potter.
Yes, Maggie Smith.
I remember her as Wendy from Hook. That's kind of my only mental image I have of her.
She's been in so many shows.
She's looked basically the same for 20, 30. Hook's how old? 30 years? Yeah.
She was 89 when she died. She didn't.
Oh yeah, Agatha was a TV show, right? Agatha Christie or something like that. Or no, that's an author.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Downtown Abbey.
Downtown Abbey.
Downton.
You talking about that dead?
Yeah.
That old? That.
She's dead, so we're making fun of her, basically.
I'm gonna do a shot
Of Grey Goose.
to Maggie Smith, James Bond's favorite, Smirnoff.
Smirnoff.
Not vanilla, but it is vanilla. That wasn't Bond's favorite, but ooh, smooth.
What's happening with James Bond anyway? They're rebranding it, right? It's not just done.
I don't know. I've been watching some cool videos about the guns of James Bond, which are interesting.
The Walter PPK.
Yes, but what they alluded to on a few occasions was he kept a long Colt in his car, a long barrel Colt. So all these gun guys are like debating about what was the gun. Was it an old Army Colt with an elongated barrel? Was it a Colt 45? Then he references a certain type of safety. Many revolvers of that age didn't have safeties, so it's like, yeah, James Bond. You can go deep in all directions on all of the stuff that Ian Fleming. I think Ian Fleming had a history of like espionage. Are you familiar with him, Last Dance?
Yeah,
Ian Fleming.
He's the writer of the books originally.
he's the writer of the Bond books.
Oh, okay.
And he kind of started out in that department, which is just so great.
Yeah,
From 1908 to 1964. For his lifespan, at least. And he might have died young based on the cigarette he was smoking, because that is a fatty with a little fancy on classy stick.
Yeah, people lived different back then, bro.
Yeah, dude, smoking was good for you, especially
Yeah.
if you're pregnant.
that's what my mom did to keep from gaining weight when she had me.
It wasn't uncommon to have a bunch of martinis after work every day.
Right. And some speed to help clean the house.
Potentially.
What was that though? What was it called? It wasn't called speed. There was some pharmaceutical drug that women were taking back in the 60s that was basically speed.
Yes.
Ephedrine, right?
I don't
No.
know.
No, that's more modern.
Okay.
This was actually closer to real methamphetamines.
Okay.
And
Wow.
they also, when they wanted to wind down off of those, they took Valium. Those were prescribed.
Those old vacuums that were like 100 pounds that made them look like they were vacuuming with a twig when they were on those pills.
Right. But yeah. Any, see what he put here. Anyone check the private? Did you check what he put there?
I have not looked, but I can look quickly if you
Put a
want.
link to YouTube. You mean that? Jason's
It
link?
is the cockeyed adventures of Denim Duguay. It's a 16-year-old post. I don't know if it's copyright music. That's the only thing.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yeah, that's going to take a whole deep dive. I can't watch that now, but
It's a small,
really
it's a short film, 3-minute short film of a guy sitting in a chair talking about something.
don't understand it without being able to concentrate. We're running a live here. Where is everybody? It's Friday. This is the problem with Fridays.
Yeah.
Either I don't do it, or I do it and expect a low turnout. And I'm happy with the low turnout just to do it. You know, I pay for this stupid fucking StreamYard, so I feel like I have to do it every week. Yeah, I mean, it isn't a ton of dough, but I want to get my $5 a week, essentially, is what it comes down to. Friday, here we go. Yawnsville. Are you having a drink, Last Dance?
Not yet. No. I have a colonoscopy on Tuesday, so I'm on some low residue diet, and it just doesn't leave me much energy
For 2 days.
Have some scotch.
for 7 days.
So you're stripping your system of residue for 7 days. I thought it was like a 3-day purge at the end, or less than that.
No, well, my instructions are 7 days before begin a residue diet, and then like the last day it's a liquid diet.
It's a fast.
No,
It's clear liquid for the last day.
clear liquid diet. Yes,
Vodka's clear.
Last day.
clear.
Clear liquid is vegetable broth and coffee and water.
But those aren't clear liquids.
Oh, and tea. No, they allow those.
Right.
Hey, brother B.
But that means no fucking beetle nut juice or whatever you put in your coffee. coconut milk.
I
You
drink
look
my coffee black.
Experience.
Yeah, my brother's here. Right on. He's in Florida.
Yeah. Well, it looks like whatever damage was going to be done has been done there, and it's moved past it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he went down before the hurricane, and then he was like, "Why did I come here for a hurricane?" It was kind of
Right.
funny. But he's sort of a wild. He's a bon vivant. You know, he's a world traveler. He goes where he goes, and ain't no storm gonna hold him back.
I'm curious
Yeah.
if he was on the Gulf side or the Atlantic side of the Panhandle or wherever down there.
Well, he's not a psychopath. He was on the Atlantic side. So
Okay, that's cool.
otherwise, he would probably have not gone. He was
Okay.
far enough to get some action, but not close enough to be concerned. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I'm surprised how much damage is being done up here in North Carolina and over in Tennessee and stuff. Like the amount of flooding and damage that it seems like more damage is
Right.
happening north of Florida.
Yeah.
Right
Yeah.
there you go. He's divulging some info there.
Okay.
I'm not familiar with Boca Raton, but it sounds fancy.
Miami, right? Fort Lauderdale,
What is that? What do you mean?
where Boca Raton is. Isn't that kind of down on the?
No, it's near Palm Beach.
Okay.
Are there still
Isn't that
palm
also
trees?
just north of Miami, Fort Lauderdale?
I don't know. You're naming multiple places there. Miami.
Miami, and then Fort Lauderdale, and then Palm Beach. And
Oh, you're going in order. Okay.
It's sort of a.
Making me learn stuff.
Okay, I got to look at the.
I'm
I got to
looking
look at
it up.
Google Maps.
I'm looking it up right now. West Palm Beach is north of it. Fort Lauderdale is south of it. The closest two beaches are Pompano Beach and Del Rey.
Del Rey is nice.
Miami's twice as far south as Fort Lauderdale is. The only thing I know
it's
about
over there.
Miami is Grand Theft Auto, Vice.
Yeah, it's just north of Fort Lauderdale.
Well, he says north of Miami, 30 miles. I thought it was further than that, but okay.
No,
There you go.
it looks like it's about 37 miles. The question is, how long will it take you to go 37 miles on that much population?
Well, you can't. You got to stop by and visit Migrande if you're going from Miami to Boca Raton.
That'll tack on a good 3 minutes.
There's wife. Good one, wife. That's funny.
I don't know. I don't know where Mar-a-Lago is. Really,
Is that? I mean, I don't even know where that is. Is that in Miami?
It's its own town. Trump made a town. That's
Oh,
a
nice.
Trump impression.
Best town ever.
Exactly. They eat the
Zero
dogs.
time.
They eat the dogs and the cats. The dogs.
And the iguana's probably down there. It's like tree chicken.
Actually, that would be fine. Send them to Florida to eat the pythons and the iguanas.
There you
We'll
go.
be all set.
You need to write your congressman, Steve.
Mar-a-Lago.
Information is beneficial to the country.
Jim McGovern and Pocahontas are really going to listen to my concerns.
I'm sure they will, especially if you call her by her native spiritual name like that.
But the real
north
the
of
real
Boca Raton.
the real burn was when they were calling her Pocahontas because she lied on her Harvard
That might have hurt her feelings a little bit.
application.
Politicians
Didn't
have
matter.
feelings.
No.
Oh,
Didn't
okay.
matter. She's a fighter for what she believes in, and she will always get elected in this state. So, in the sense of somebody playing their cards correctly to get reelected and to stay on at Harvard to teach one class per year and make $350,000. She's worked that shit perfectly. So
Yeah, she's in the club, bro. She's staying in the club.
Lizzie knows what she's doing. She's no fool.
What happened to the man in New York that just got tagged for Turkish relation?
Eric Adams, the mayor of New York, was indicted.
Turkish relations.
Yeah, Turkish delight. I don't know what they call it.
Turkish bath. I don't know. It sounds shady. When he pulled the same line as Trump, when he said, because I stood up for all of you, they came after me. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? He actually said that line.
Did he? I didn't hear it.
Yeah.
I'll be darned.
That was in his first conference, almost identical to what Trump used to use, which was very inspirational. And I think that drew a lot of people in. But yeah, and I heard you say something about $6,000 maybe, but I think it's a lot more money than $6,000.
I mean, certainly the numbers being bandied about, in the indictment are bigger, but it's like $120,000 in free travel from Turkey. I don't believe those numbers. Some accountant decides what that travel is worth, and it doesn't mean it's really worth that.
Well, Eric Adams just said he's been to Turkey 7 times.
They have nice bathhouses, I think.
Now, if every one of those was on a private jet at which would be average $15,000 per flight for an international flight, you're talking 7 times 15,000. You're looking at what, $105,000? Yeah. So, now you add in the fact that it's an international flight to Turkey, it's probably more money than that. If it's private. So I think you might be overlooking that fact, Last Dance.
Are you sure it's illegal to take a flight on a private jet to Turkey?
As long as it's not the Lolita Express.
Are you arguing the legality of it over the moral aspect?
Yes.
Okay. Probably legal. But it sounds like shady things were going on here.
I'd have to know the details.
Anything. I know that he turned himself into the FBI today, and they did something at the courthouse, like they told him what he did wrong or something. But I haven't looked into it enough yet. I don't know if it's even been released to the public of what those things are.
Yeah, I'm always I'm very much an innocent until proven guilty person when it comes to complex charges like these. Right. People always want to rush to judgment against a politician.
Right. And being a politician right now is being in a hot seat, apparently. It seems like there's a lot more people getting indicted these days than I remember, but I also am paying more attention now, so maybe it's all the same difference.
Well, we'll see. We'll see if he even fights the charges.
If you said he's innocent, you'd think that he would.
Well, the question isn't whether you're innocent; it's whether you'll be convicted. That's the question.
Look, do they tell you that beforehand? We're like, we're going to 100% convict you. And they're like,
They always say that, but your lawyers are the ones you need to trust.
Yeah, that's going to be hard for me to do. Trusting lawyers, not high on my list.
It depends. There's good ones and there's bad ones.
Pro bonos, those are the good ones, right?
Negative.
Okay, I don't know.
I don't think a good lawyer is ever going to go pro bono. Why would they?
If they know they're going to win a fat chunk.
No, lawyers get paid. If you can't afford a lawyer, you can get a court-appointed lawyer,
public defender. Yeah,
public defender. But
apparently, that's better than doing it for yourself. What do they call that? Presenting yourself, or
you being your own attorney,
representing yourself. You're a straw man, technically. Oh
yeah.
Is that better? Yeah. Look, no, it still does it. I think it's the wrong color. We're just testing green real quick. Sorry, guys, but it's better. It's not as.
I want to appear bold.
Yeah.
Let's see.
There's nothing wrong with being bold.
Yeah, but as a girl.
Yeah, see how it picks you up from back there?
Awesome.
It makes a difference.
Yep.
Technology, everyone.
Don't mind me.
So it's still a green screen from.
No, she's actually sewing me green sheet that I'm gonna put up to the ceiling. So like above me is all the Black Panther. That's why I put this screen on mostly. Or not the Black Panther. That's different. Solid Pink Panther. So yeah, she's gonna make me a green screen hopefully, and it works out better because I was actually gonna try and do some coloring stuff streams just if I get downtime, branching out a little bit from debates.
Trying the ASMR.
Yeah, just chilling sessions instead of digging into people or trying to figure out the solution for life.
Someone else was leading the mayor's race, and then they got accused. This is the New York City election that Eric Adams won.
Who was the someone else?
Was it Brad Landner or something? He looked like he was going to win, and then someone said that he sexually assaulted her. And
Was it a lie?
Was it a
It
porn?
was a lie. It appears to have been a lie.
What was the source of that? The person or some unknown accuser? Or?
No, it was the person. The person said that she was sexually assaulted by this guy. And
have people done a deep dive into this person to figure out why they were?
And it was something very suspicious about the nature of her accusation. I don't remember the details. You could look it up, but I think he wants to run again, and this might be his chance to get back in the game.
You think they're going to have some sort of a interim election, or?
Well, I'm assuming that he's going to, at some point, he's going to plead guilty and resign. Not anytime soon, but.
So he's still allowed to do his duties under arrest?
Well, he's not, I assume he'll be released on his own recognizance and, innocent until proven guilty. So he's not, he's not convicted.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. At one point early on in this immigration debacle that we had going on with people flooding over the borders, did he say that he was willing to take an extremely large number into New York City and bear the weight of their, existence?
I don't know if it was a large number, but he did say that he would take people in. I don't think he realized.
And then after the city got into dire straits because of that, he completely did a 180 on that.
Right.
I remember that. I do remember seeing videos on that showing the contrast.
So when his original purpose for getting elected, that makes me question his entire motive and his entire running platform. He got in, he went with this major thing in one direction, thinking, I don't know what he was thinking. How could somebody think that would be beneficial to their city that they're running, other than to be subservient to the higher purpose, the higher power that's created
I think you
this?
hit the nail on the head there, buddy.
Right?
Well,
and then after he sees that it's fucking his city up, he's like, all right, 180 now,
Yeah.
people need to notice this shit, man.
Yeah, I mean, he's a politician, so he has to navigate these issues
That he creates.
It's embarrassing.
Well, the people of New York City probably are, very progressive, and they love stupid immigration, unchecked immigration, I suppose. So it seems.
But still they show up at their fucking city park and there's fucking dozens of them hanging around in there doing nefarious deeds,
That never impacts the limousine liberals that are, that back these programs.
Is that like a celebrity? Like, what is that?
What is what?
What is a limousine liberal? A wealthy person?
it's a wealthy person who supports progressive policies that impact everybody else but them, like
Right.
immigration, for example.
Right.
But never sees the possible negative results.
Exactly. If they do, they change their tune immediately.
I would think that they've. I don't know. Maybe there's the elite still haven't experienced any issues with overpopulation of a city, because if they're not
Yeah.
dependent on literally any aspect of what that city has, then I guess you can not feel it. But
Yeah, so the Smoke's wife is referring to the Turks. Either they bought a building or they moved into a third. I think it was a 35-story building, or maybe they were on the 35th floor of a building, and they were going to put their new consulate in New York City, and the fire department inspected it and found that it was not safe, not up to code. So they were not going to issue an occupancy permit.
I can tell you what that was already.
Okay.
Is the heater not
Yeah.
working?
No, it's fucking sprinklers, and it's smoke detectors.
Okay.
You can't fight them. They'll fucking take you to the grave on that shit. Sometime.
Well, it appears as though the fire department was convinced to change their tune and approve it, supposedly for some payment or some consideration. So it's not just Adams. There are some other people. Adams, he was a cop, and he likes other cops. He brought in ex-cops he knew into the administration. It appears that some of them are under indictment or about to be indicted, including someone whose last name is Caban, Caban. It's apparently two brothers, one of whom is in Adams' administration, and the other is does private security or something on the side, and there appears to have been something suspected hinky going on between those two. That guy resigned recently. There've been a lot of resignations of top people.
I will say one thing. Forcing building owners to do sprinklers is an incredible amount of dirt, disgusting, and work, hours, man hours, money. It's incredible how much it costs.
You're gutting the building to do that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're basically renovating the whole building at that point.
Most of the time, you have to actually evict everybody first.
Right.
Then do the work, then do a cleanup, then get it inspected by the EPA, and then you can reopen the building.
I wonder how many buildings are grandfathered in with a really shitty system. It must be like 50% up there. Like, that would be a lot of buildings up in cities, right?
Well, yeah, especially if there's a type of construction called post-form concrete. You can't drill millions of holes in all of these concrete structures because in some of them, the strength of the structure is in the concrete itself. And the concrete is the walls and the ceilings and the floors and everything. And yeah, I don't know. I really don't know.
So that means that the renovation is impossible. They'd have to level the building and start over.
No, not always, but it's just a pain in the balls.
Okay. Sounds like ball testicle pain.
And it sounds to me like this guy was doing some kind of, shenanigans.
Ooh, shenanigans.
This mayor. I don't know. Do you guys think so?
Like I said, I'm not going to say that.
I got a foil hat.
No, I'll just let it play out. I'll see what the evidence is, and then.
But don't you think that the DOD or whatever attorney general brought these charges, it would be,
Already done and dusted.
yeah, like they wouldn't do this on a whim. They must have a solid case.
No, I'm not going to say that. I don't think they do it on a whim, and I hope they wouldn't do it on a whim.
Doesn't it seem like a left field happening? Like
the mayor says he's innocent, so that's what I'm going to say. He's innocent until I see details that convince me otherwise.
Yeah.
So is that how you go with when anyone says they're innocent?
Yes, absolutely.
He'll cover for you, Steve.
Well, wouldn't any human being ever say they were innocent?
That's right. That's why we have innocent until proven guilty.
I think no, not everyone. That's a hyperbolic statement, right? There's people that admit guilty.
Eventually, some people plead guilty, but even some of those people plead guilty because they know they'd be convicted. Like, for example, there are a lot of federal laws, especially in national security, in which it's almost impossible to defend yourself. And
such as
the laws that Julian Assange pled guilty to. I mean, I don't think he was guilty of anything. But when you violate the Espionage Act, or if you're charged under an Espionage Act violation, it's very hard to defend yourself.
We got into a conversation a few days ago, Last Dance, about RFK and the health of the United States of America, and it had to do with our conversation had to do with the regulation of food in the United States. You were against regulation of food, and I wasn't so much against it.
I wouldn't go that far. I'm completely distrustful of anybody's, someone like RFK's regulation schemes. I don't trust them.
Can you give me better detail on that? Because I know nothing of his schemes.
Well, I don't know. He doesn't really have schemes. He just makes these bizarre pronouncements on social media.
So extreme statements.
Yeah, but not much detail as well. So
he
I don't know.
makes some good points.
Yeah, okay, I don't think he does.
Well, what about the whole McDonald's French fry thing?
Yeah, what about the whole McDonald's French fry thing?
Well, like
you want the federal government to regulate McDonald's French fries?
Well, here in the U.S., they're like there's like 19 ingredients.
Woo!
But in certain European countries, there's significantly less ingredients to produce the same product.
2. Oh, you mean French fries?
Yes.
It should be like potato oil.
Right. So what that comes down to here is they're allowing them to use a lot more preservatives so they can make bigger batches and store them for a longer period of time without having to, constantly flip it over and waste more money on restocking the shit.
Right.
And certain European countries, that's not allowed. Like, I
It's
would
a
like to
detriment to the human being in society.
I don't really regard Europe as a model for much.
No, not a model. But if some place had really dank French fries and they said like potatoes, oil, salt, I'd be like, wow, 3 ingredients and these are the bomb. And then
So that's how the market works. You go to Five Guys, and other people can go to McDonald's.
Right. So my point is, I think people are uneducated about that fact here in the U.S. of what the hell McDonald's is serving. And they're uneducated about the fact that there are McDonald's worldwide that make fries with 3 or 4 ingredients because of the higher standards of their version of the FDA, I guess, or whatever food standards they have, that they're not allowed to use all the stuff we have or to store the shit for as long as they do.
Right. Eastwind Farms has a comment on the side saying McDonald's potatoes are off-gassed in stadium-sized areas for months to let the pesticides leach out. I don't know about the source of any of it.
I don't know if that's true, but I don't. I prefer to have markets do the selection, and they work so much better than government at almost anything. It's not that you can't have regulation; it's that I approach regulation with a skeptical eye, and
Right.
and, you know,
I'd like to go back to.
You're not happy with this McDonald's thing that I'm talking about.
Don't
I'm
mess with
sure.
your
I'm
French
totally
fries.
happy.
Low residue.
If you want to buy McDonald's French fries, then you could do that. There's a reason why they're cheaper than other competitors' fries, and if that's your trade-off, that's what you want in life, then you should be allowed to do it.
Of course, you should be allowed, I guess, but I would like them to. It's almost like I'd like them to strive for a better product with less ingredients.
What about at least the
Oh,
education?
well, I agree too. Fresher, is just less preservatives, fresher stuff.
Papa
Right.
John's model.
I mean, it's hard to get a fresh vegetable in some places. Like, take for example Taco Bell.
Ooh.
You probably can't find any fresh
Oh, no.
fresh ingredients there at all. It's all
Rehydrated.
It's all rehydrated. It's all squeezed out of tubes.
They do have. Actually, do they have tomatoes anymore?
I don't
know if they have diced
have.
tomatoes.
They have diced tomatoes, but it's not clear that they were diced there.
No, but they do have fresh lettuce. They got fresh lettuce.
Do they
probably
have
got
fresh lettuce?
Subway.
They do.
Now at Burger King, if you get a tomato on your burger, it's a slice of tomato. So there's at least that.
Tomato-like substance.
No, it's actual. It appears to be a tomato.
Right.
And I haven't done a deep dive into it or looked at it through an electron microscope.
I guarantee it's not an organic tomato. It's a GMO.
Oh no,
tomato.
organic. No, that would be too expensive. But these places differ. They're not all the same. And you know what? Taco Bell is cheaper than Burger King, and I don't know where McDonald's.
Food is so expensive across the board right now, dude. It's expensive.
I don't, so these are choices people can make. I don't want RFK making these choices for America.
Let's answer English bottle cap. I'm gonna pick Taco Bell.
Yeah, and his comment about Demolition Man is on point for Taco Bell. I like that movie. I'm gonna go Taco Bell over Pizza Hut because Pizza Hut's just cheese and
bad dough.
Yeah,
Oh, you're a pizza snob, Smokesteve. You really are.
But Pizza Hut pizza. I don't know. I guess I don't know. I haven't had no. Mm-mm.
Well, the Pizza Hut near where me and my buddies live. What's your choice, Last Dance?
Well, there's not much I can eat at either place, but
you could have a fried taco with beans and shit.
Well, I can get they'll give me a burrito with beans and shit and no cheese. That looks like I could eat that. Oh, I've had that.
No dairy.
No dairy, right?
Okay.
Vegan, bro.
But
I thought it was just no.
They're beans. I mean, you could get black beans that are actual beans. But
Really?
their refried beans they're like shipped, like in tanker trucks.
Yeah.
There's like a train that comes by with 150,000 tons of refried beans, and it stops there at the Taco Bell, and then there's
it's literally dehydrated. It's a powder.
I don't know what it is.
It's literally a powder. It's
been a long time. It's been a long time since it was a bean.
Yeah. I don't know if you have tried to make your own refried beans, guys, but it's not easy. Like the pinto bean is a hard bean. It takes forever to get it the right texture.
Never. I just buy them in the can.
Fair enough.
I don't. Yeah, I haven't been to Taco Bell, same as wife, in a really long time. But my college buddy brought some Taco Bell here like a
How was
couple
the
months
heartburn?
ago.
Was it
It
good?
was it's terrible. Chicken tacos.
Chicken.
It's terrible.
Now, if you go to some place like Chipotle, that's kind of the opposite experience. It's
Again,
I don't know about
McDonald's.
I don't know about the quality of the vegetables and the quality of the beans, but just about everything is fresh. The tortillas are not fresh.
They're of higher quality across the board, though. Whatever quality of freshness they are or real they are, I don't know. But when it comes to the experience, it's definitely, 10 times or 50 times better than Taco Bell.
Right. And it's more expensive, but
Is it? It's getting
definitely.
close.
No, it's more expensive.
Okay. Ugh.
And I mean, I would argue that it tastes better too, and it's better
yeah.
ingredients.
You'd have more choices there also. Tons of choices.
Yes, I have more choices because I can actually see what I'm getting versus
Right.
having to trust
The guy in the back.
the guy in the back, right?
Right. These are awful crusty. I don't know if we should use them. Just kidding.
Exactly.
I do want to see the education aspect of nutrition and food and toxins and all that go up, because I remember in phys ed I learned about like the food pyramid for nutrition, but you get older and you look into that and you're like, this is all lobbyist bullshit. And then it'd be nice to see them teach.
I agree with that. I think that should be. It doesn't take long to teach people about fresh food and so
doesn't.
forth. It's not like we're talking like
them, hey,
we're not talking a whole semester or 6 months.
No, you're talking like a month or less, like 2 weeks.
Yeah, I do think that explaining the benefits of fresh foods to kids as part of a class is definitely worth it.
But what about the aspect of potential harmful substances? Not just the DARE program.
No, I wouldn't go into that because
really,
what's harmful?
Why not? What
do you think is harmful? Yeah, what do you think is harmful?
If synthetic sugars, if
what's the synthetic sugar?
Aspartame. There's like handfuls of it now, right?
Phenylalanine.
What?
Phenylalanine, and they put it in they put it in Diet Coke.
Phenylalanine. I think that's like the active ingredient of aspartame, right?
I don't know.
Okay.
But my point is, like, preservatives, synthetic sugars, different aspects that are put into food colorings. If there is science that backs up that these things can harm the body, I feel like that's fair to say to the student, hey, this is known to cause problems. You should at least be aware of it. It's not going to take it out of the store.
I don't want that. That's going too far. I just think it's better to have a simple message that's not going to change based on one study being debunked.
I'm not going to throw one-offs.
Go with fresh. The fresher ingredients are better. Go with fruits and vegetables. When you eat out, try and find fresh ingredients, less preservatives. Just some basic. You can't assume that kids will understand the basics of nutrition, but
they never will.
But it's not that complicated. It's really not. And I don't want to talk about preservatives because that is complicated. And some kid will say, well, this guy on the internet who has a PhD says that it's not that preservatives.
Formaldehyde is bad.
Look at this. Biscuit Vape says it right. He says it here. Steve-O is a natural, low calories. Steve-O.
Okay, sorry.
There's
very rare.
The difference between natural and non-natural, that's not a scientific distinction. And the notion that somehow natural things are inherently safer than things that are not quite so natural, that's also not a scientific distinction.
I feel like if we spent time and looked into the studies that have been done, it would be linear in both directions. If you had a natural sugar per se, and we saw what was happened in those experiences versus synthetic sugars. If like the mice are all dying, that's means something.
Well, two good points here by my wife: real sugar and real butter in moderation, or no sugar and no butter in moderation. But don't replace them with other things. If you cut it out, then don't replace it
No
with
petroleum byproducts.
Don't replace it with saccharin and like dehydrogenated soybean oil or something.
Dude, Crisco all the way, whatever that stuff's made out of.
And Eastwind brings up the simple point of, well, anthrax is natural. It is.
So is poison ivy, and I try not to wipe my butt with it.
But even something like stevia, I don't know what it is, but I guarantee you it has to be refined from something.
Right, and there are good and bad stevias. There's a bunch out there that apparently is bad. It's not as helpful and amazing as it's sold as. It's only if they do the right
whatever it is, whatever stevia comes from, whatever plant it comes from, you're not going to take the Stevo plant and crumble it up and put it in your drink, because that's not what stevia is. Stevia is extracted from some plant and by refining some way or another, possibly using chemicals.
They're the good ones.
So I definitely don't think you want to try and teach kids about that level of detail.
I don't know. I don't think it's a waste of time, honestly. I like maple syrup, real maple syrup versus xylitol or whatever you got. Xylophone, pick one. I don't know.
Well, most syrups have corn syrup in them and a little bit of maple syrup, right?
Sorry, say that last part again.
Maple flavoring.
If you look at like Log Cabin, for example, that brand, or
like
Mrs. Butterworth's, it's mostly corn syrup with maybe a tiny bit of real maple syrup.
Oh, I'm sure they've done away with the real stuff a long time ago. They just use blue now.
I don't even like to give my kid real maple syrup because of the unnecessary sugar spike. But the fake stuff, like, I might give her that once every 2 weeks if we're lucky, if she's lucky. Because that shit is too strong, dude.
I love it.
Why? I do love the taste. It's fabulous, but I'd rather she a couple hard boiled, like hard boiled and piece of toast.
Well, now is this hard boiled egg? Is it the cheap white eggs from Walmart, or are they like local free range eggs? Does that matter?
We buy better than Walmart eggs.
I'm just being an ass. I'm not trying to be nitpicky, but I just think it's important for society to understand what could be harmful, so that they can at least look into it themselves instead of just being like Demolition Man, where everything's incorporated in the end and there is no anything but that.
The only point I care to make is that I don't want the federal government. I don't trust the federal government to regulate these things, and I prefer not to have them do it.
What thing again?
Nutrition.
How the ingredients in McDonald's French fries?
I think they.
He's like, man, fuck McDonald's.
Yeah, I just hate all the ingredients there.
Don't eat there.
Well, I don't.
That's the way the word. That's how our capitalist economy works.
Right. It's expensive and tastes like garbage. So
it's crap. I mean,
do you guys have? I mean, you guys must have good local dives. We've got like. Dude, the foothills is not looking good for eating out at all. You basically learn how to make your own food.
Good. That's the way it is. We don't go out much anymore up here. We have a few spots that are like legendary around within like a 40-mile radius. So now when we go out, we go to like the really good spots, even if it's a 10 or 15 miles away. We're like, let's just not go local anymore. We're going to go to the good places.
Do it right.
Exactly.
Hey, Last Dance, have you ever been to the Double T Diner?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, that was a cool spot. the original one back in the day. The one in Ellicott City was good too, but very different vibes.
I don't know if there's still one in Ellicott City. There's one, of course. There's one in Annapolis. I don't know where the original was.
It is in Catonsville, I think. No, it's when you're taking 40 towards Baltimore, somewhere back that direction. I don't know what area that is called anymore. But yeah, last time I was there, they had assault rifle guys with security like outside of it. I'm like, this is pretty intense. What kind of violence are you guys expecting at the Double T Diner?
Well, I mean, it sounds like that would be a Waffle House with that kind of security.
Wow. Yeah, I'm not sure. Everybody down here has their own security at the Waffle Houses. I should go to one. I need to experience it, I guess. But I'm sure the food tastes like absolute trifle.
I'm sure it's the experience that you're going for, not the food.
Yeah, but I'd have to go with like a group because I wouldn't want to be rolling one deep in a Waffle House. I don't know.
There's a lot of them all over the place.
I think there's one in my area.
There's a couple off of 95.
Okay, yeah.
North of Baltimore. So if we ever have a need to go to one, we can. It's not too far away for us.
What are you talking about?
The Waffle House.
Yeah, that
for us it was Cracker Barrel. That was the Waffle House for my family growing up. But Cracker Barrel is not what it used to be. It's
Swag.
very
There's one of those near the airport, near BWI.
A Cracker Barrel?
Yes.
Wow.
An old one too.
I didn't realize that they were that far north, or that far south, I should say. I don't remember which one it would be. No, because I just remember Maryland not really having them. But once you go north or south, they're all over the major highways because that's where you park your IVs or RVs or your trailer or your truck because they always had the big parking.
Mm-hmm. Well, the part of the Cracker Barrel is the gift shop before you go into the restaurant.
Right.
With all
the candy sticks.
All the random weird shit that I've never seen anybody buy, but that all looks kind of fascinating.
Fun to play with while you wait for your table. That's what
exactly.
Yeah. It's all cheap Chinese stuff now. It's not the whole experience is just cheap. It's not the nostalgic aspect. I tried a couple times, but I couldn't do it anymore.
That era when things were made locally by, folk artists, that era is long gone.
Yeah, there's a place near us that has the potential for that, but the store isn't stocked right. And like, it'd be cool to actually have a store around here with just local arts and crafts for people to pass through and grab something. But yeah, so much potential here, but basically it's tobacco fields. So if you guys like driving past tobacco fields, come visit the foothills sometime.
There used to be one half a mile from here.
A tobacco field?
Yes.
Really? I just remember corn and soybeans and potatoes up there. Mostly corn and soybean.
Yeah, no, there was plenty of tobacco in southern Maryland, but there was this one field right in here about half a mile away that had tobacco in it. And then one day, that was it. They didn't grow anything after that. They just had a field. I guess they got paid to stop growing. And
that's crazy, right? Hey, we're going to pay you to not grow food. What?
Yeah. Now they use that field to have food trucks come in every Wednesday. Oop, we lost RW. Oh, there he is.
No, I have a dot that's driving me nuts. I think it's the light above me that's causing the camera to freak out.
Yeah, I see the dot too, and I tried to clean it off. It's right on your eye now.
It's not on your screen, fellas. Sorry about that.
Hey, Last Dance.
Yeah.
What do you think about this Ken Klippenstein thing that went down recently?
I don't know exactly what happened. I just heard about it afterward. Evidently, the Iranians allegedly hacked JD, some Republican accounts, and they got information on JD Vance, and Ken Klippenstein published it, which is totally cool as far as I'm concerned. but apparently there was also like personal information, like the first 5 digits of his social security number was in there, his home address, some other stuff. And I guess Twitter, X, just suspended his account. Boom, just like that, which to me seems wrong.
Were they not doxing him?
They might have been doxing him. I don't know if you could call it full doxing.
But I've heard you say in the past that you're adamantly against that at all levels.
I am against doxing, absolutely. But the way to solve that is to just what?
Oh.
Yes. Oh. The way to solve that is to just not, tell him he can't publish a link until it no longer has, don't let him publish the tweet. You don't have to suspend his account. And I think he's
block the tweet individually.
Yeah, it's not, or if you do suspend him, make it clear it's a temporary suspension until he cleans up the personal information that he was publishing.
But seeing as this information might be detrimental to somebody's existence, do you not think stronger action could be taken or should be taken?
No, I don't think stronger action should be taken. Simply don't allow that information on your platform.
Fair enough. Yeah.
It's not clear that he did this intentionally. It might have been careless rather than intentional.
You're talking about the X platform. Have you guys paid any attention to Alex Jones's court decision to force him to liquidate by November?
I mean, I've heard about it. I haven't looked at any details.
So basically, someone's got to buy him out, or it's just going to disappear. But I mean, to me, I don't really think it matters. He can literally just go on X and stream live there and not have his own platform, and he'll be the exact same person. So,
yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I mean,
unless X takes him down or something, but it doesn't look like it. Looks like Alex Jones and Elon Musk are shaking hands lately.
Turn your camera on, Top. Let's get you on here,
buddy. That iced tea, buddy. Better be the right brand, or we know it's not the right guy.
I'm sure it is. It's just a formality.
I don't know. There's a yellow label on the bottle on the half-gallon plastic jug of tea.
Yeah, and I had a little bit of a to-do with others on Twitter about this, and someone said they just don't trust the ethics of journalists today. So they're just not, they don't believe it was an accident. And it's fair. I would, all journalists seem to be partisans these days, except for a very small number. So, I wouldn't, it's totally rational to distrust journalists. And when they say it was an accident, it's totally cool to distrust them. But but I think the fact that they were hacked and Iran hacked them, I think none of that is any relevance at all.
I don't really understand what's happening in this conversation, so I can't really. I'm just curious what the to-do or the thing that I'm guessing you had a bit of a back and forth with someone in an FU type of format over the subject, or no?
It wasn't that bad.
I think that is Topple. I put him on and we didn't get anything, so
he'll be
just
back.
Leave him on. I'll leave him on. All right.
We gotta like grind his gears a little bit or say the wrong things, and that'll get him talking. Oh, there we go. See?
Hey, Top.
Welcome back, man. Your name is very generic today. I hope you're okay. There it is.
Eastman Farm says after all Alex Jones had to pay out and all those controversy with him, how much do you think he's worth now?
So to rephrase that, I think he's saying the Sandy Hook debacle. He got smacked for billions of dollars and has to pay it out to the families of Sandy Hook. And once he sells off all of his company and that money goes to them, he'll be worth, I said $3.75. I don't know. But at the end of the day, he can have a free X account and start right back from zero. And with he already has 2 or 3 million people on X now. So his income, I don't know. I don't even know how income works on X and YouTube and all that, but he's going to make money. He's going to be fine. I just don't know if he's going to be able to support his crew like he had. I don't know. I just don't know how much money these platforms give out to people.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
I assume with 1 million followers, it's pretty good.
You
But,
think?
They're not going to give him premium levels that they would give to certain people. He's already got a tarnish.
How much
associated with him.
how much of this judgment was on his corporate entity versus his personal money?
My understanding, and I don't quote me, my understanding is that it's his business entity that is taking the hit.
I would bet that he hasn't paid out a cent yet.
No, I don't think so. It was on like a holding pattern because one of the judges was saying that it was unconstitutional how he was seized, and then it's been like a holding pattern for months, and now they finally made this decision where he has till November to liquidate, and they're working on some auction process to possibly buy him out and own his entity, but if he likes the people, he'll still do the same thing on the same platform. That's my understanding. There's other court cases that I have just heard, like they disappeared, like all the stuff against Trump that kind of just disappeared. Hunter Biden's court case that was meant to be coming up, I haven't heard anything about that. Those are the ones I can remember off the top of my head, but if you guys have heard anything on those fronts, I'm curious what's going on.
Well, he pled guilty to the. Didn't he plead guilty to
the gun charge for Hunter Biden?
Which one did he plead guilty to? There was a tax charge and a gun charge that were separate.
I'll look it up now. I thought it was the gun charge.
He pleaded guilty to the gun charge. Okay.
Guilty to all 9 charges in tax evasion case.
Okay.
Before trial in Los Angeles. That was September 5th.
Okay.
So yeah. His sentencing is scheduled for December 16th. He faces up to 17 years in prison. So it's just quiet until that comes up. There's so much other stuff happening in the world that the feeds are being flooded with basically war constantly. So I'm trying to actually dig for other stuff to talk about. I don't just want to talk about it.
You think Joe Biden will pardon his son?
Where is Joe Biden? I don't
in the
know.
White House.
Okay. I don't know. I feel like if he did at this point, what would it even matter? He's already his image is absolutely scarred. He's a ghost of a president. He can literally shit on the Oval Office desk and it wouldn't even matter. I don't think it matters anymore.
Very good. All right. Rolling on along.
Okay. So Biden was found guilty by a jury in the gun case and pled guilty to the tax charges. So
smart move. Get out of it. Who cares about Hunter?
Not many people apparently anymore.
I know.
The whole Biden family is kind of like old news. That's kind of the feel I'm getting.
But let's look at Topple's question, when is Biden going to jail? He obviously doesn't think that. That's him being sarcastic.
I mean, once he's not president anymore, right? Then they can try him as a citizen.
There's no reason he should go to jail.
Well, what would they try him for? I don't think he's done any.
I mean, they could go after him for the documents, right? That they already went pretty far on that one. They could just decide to do that or not.
I don't know if he's still. They could, yeah, but I don't know that he's still. I'm not sure that he still faces that. I think the decision. Well, I'm not sure.
I think if they really wanted to try and dig into him, they could, but I would be surprised if they're going to spend any effort on that. They're going to move on to the next thing. Whoever they are.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's going to bother with Joe Biden.
And he makes a Diddy reference.
Him and Diddy love the lube.
Sniffing hair crime, no, but it's shady.
Apparently those bizarre details that we heard from Diddy's are apparently true. He really did have 1,000 bottles of baby oil. Or
what about like 800 dildos? I guess that would fit.
Well, I don't know about that, but his lawyer confirms the 1,000 bottles of baby oil.
I always thought he was one ugly, disgusting motherfucker. And sure is.
Hey, that guy looks shady. Oh, wait, that guy is shady.
I mean, and just for context, I always thought like Biggie Smalls, Notorious B.I.G. was
Notorious,
the best rapper I ever heard. So
yeah, but you hear his lyrics, and if he has actually done anything that he said in his lyrics, he's one shady dude.
That's why I like him.
Oof.
Because his lyrics are fire, bro.
Topple says he's having mic dysfunction. He doesn't think he can get the mic up.
Smoke Wife is saying they've been looking into it for 2 years. I believe she's talking about the Biden documents case and found nothing. What else can I do? I mean, they already found what they needed to find.
Right. They already found he violated the law.
Right. I don't know what else they're looking for. I just don't think they're going after it.
True. Well, you guys got more stuff to cover? Are we going to kill this baby early tonight or what?
It's totally up to you.
Oh, if I go, then you can still be here. Hey, there he is.
Smoke Wife says the lawyer said that sometimes people like to stock up on stuff from Costco. So Costco put a tweet out, and they said we don't sell baby oil at all.
Yeah, right. And it wouldn't be in small bottles. It'd be like 6 pound or 5 gallon,
55 gallon drum.
Yeah.
Huh. All right, you guys bust out with some Topple questions. You ready?
His mic doesn't work.
Hey, Topple, what do you think about the Beirut getting the shit creamed out of them right now by airstrikes?
Don't care.
Oh, okay. His mic works fine. What a fucking liar.
Does it work? This is laptop.
I thought you were banned, Topple. I thought you were banned. How'd you get in here?
I can't get on the YouTube, but I could comment on YouTube going through StreamYard for some reason.
Sounds great.
Been saying some naughty things and corporate tagged you.
It sounds really good.
Yeah.
This laptop mic works that well?
Yeah.
Yes.
Chris,
better than my mic.
Yeah, I gotta put on mute.
Do you have any flooding or anything up in Pennsylvania? Is the rain basically not even a problem up there?
No, it's not been that bad. It's actually, we needed it. We haven't got rain in like 3 weeks.
Okay, I thought I
could actually close my pool now.
If anything, your temperature's going to drop. I know that.
Hey,
it's been nice. It's been beautiful.
Gerald Thompson, how are you, my friend? GT. Need beer and alcohol.
So, did you guys talk about the mayor of New York yet being indicted? Do we know why he was indicted?
All you
Yeah,
last Dan.
we talked about that. We figured
Is it-
everything out.
Is there a real case though
We
against him?
figured everything out.
Well,
Awesome.
it looks like a real case, absolutely.
Well, is it like a bullshit case though?
I can't tell.
All
Like
right.
I said, I'm always innocent until proven guilty. So as far as I'm concerned, he's innocent. But Smoke Wife and Smokesteve have, pointed out something wrong. Smokesteve.
No, I'm hearing you talking about me.
Um,
Go. Yes.
They've pointed out that he's apparently admits to have taken 7 trips to Turkey, which is very strange. And there's a lot of his associates appear to be, engaged in less than scrupulous actions. So I don't know. We'll have to see. It's not, it's happened in the past that mayors that are sort of not paying attention, have corrupt people all around them, but they themselves are not actually guilty of anything. I'm not saying that's the case here. I'm just saying we have to learn.
Yeah, I didn't know if there was like strong details that came out about the case. I really haven't been on Twitter, and that's where I get my news, Twitter, because I'm smart.
Yeah. Well, right-wing Twitter is, of course, claiming that he's being, I guess he came out against the Biden administration's immigration plans. And so
Yes.
So they say
He's
he's being targeted because of that. I don't know. I
Nice.
doubt it. I mean, he's pretty small potatoes, for one thing. And the other thing is, I didn't see any evidence of that. That's simply a claim without any evidence.
It's Twitter. That's why.
Right.
Did you guys talk about the assume assassinators note?
No, we didn't.
not this week. No.
Do you guys have a problem that they released that though at all?
No, I don't have a problem.
I remember talking to Steve, and he didn't have a problem either.
What did he say he would pay? $150,000?
Yeah. How's he going to do that?
Right.
Bitcoin. No, I don't know.
No,
What is the
I
argument
think-
though? It's freedom of speech, but at the same time, it's like extremely politicized for that to be released. Like, is that freedom of
they're
speech
right.
because it's a hit piece?
the
Twitter-
argument.
Yeah.
Yeah, the argument is that by releasing the note, other people will see there is a reward being offered for killing him, and they will do it just to collect $150,000.
But when it comes to the aspect of what, not a memento, what do they call it? Manifesto.
Uh-huh.
For the releasing of a manifesto that calls for that, wouldn't that be wrong to allow it, or is it because it's like what is the legality of allowing that letter to be given from a criminal to the whole population, or from that man to a whole crowd?
The only issue is prejudicing his trial. Otherwise they can release anything they want. It's
I would think that
everything that the federal government has belongs to everybody in the country, except if it falls into any number of exclusions.
Wouldn't
national
releasing
defense
that manifesto foobar his court case?
Well, that's an issue that they would have had to confront, is that releasing it, if it was done to prejudice a jury or make it hard to impanel a jury, then that could be an issue that a judge.
There's no question of guilty verdict. He's literally saying, I didn't get the job done. Someone else do it for $150K.
I don't know the answers to that. I'm not a lawyer. I have to listen to a lawyer. I'm surprised they released it just because of the prejudicial aspect of it.
Right. To me, it seems extreme. What about you, Topple? What is your view on that?
I don't like I said on the Discord. I don't have a problem with that being released, but I do want to do the whataboutums or whataboutisms about the
Nashville.
transgender,
Yeah,
girl or boy,
Nashville.
whatever, shut up at
What?
school. They didn't release any of that information.
Another scenario.
Yeah, so it's another thing, but like,
Well, and why didn't they release that one? Do you know? Do you know why they didn't release that to the public?
Well, it's copywritten now.
By who? The author of the?
No, by the parents. The parents said it's a copywritten thing. They copywritten, so they can't release it. They're in. They have control of the whatever the pages that were left. Supposedly it was like 19 pages.
Yeah, I don't know that. I'm not sure how true that is. That could just be a claim.
What now? What?
We were comparing the release of the Ryan Ruth's manifesto. I guess the federal government released it compared to the Nashville. Was it Nashville or Memphis? I can never remember. The Nashville trans shooter who went to that school and shot it up and was later killed.
In spectacular fashion.
Yeah. I don't.
So what's the problem here? I don't.
The authorities.
They're two different people. I mean,
they are two different people, but why would authorities agree to release the information from one and refuse to release the information from the other?
In particular, the manifesto.
Right.
Do you guys find it problematic that Ruth said something about $150,000 about some sort of a reward, and that they've released that?
No, I don't.
I'm just going off Twitter, what Twitter's saying, the comparisons, and then you're putting a bounty on Trump's head. Well,
You're not.
You're not, because how the hell is this guy going to... If someone's willing to do that and do that anyway, they're already crazy anyway. I can't see people jumping on board for $150,000.
I mean, you can't say it's a 0% chance, though.
Yeah, well,
but dude, freedom is freedom. I don't want anyone not telling me anything, or any Americans. Let us make our own decisions, I mean,
Especially about McDonald's.
That, or do you want them to withhold this guy's manifesto because they think you're not capable of reading it? No, you want to know.
Yeah.
We should all be granted the option to have knowledge and to use our own minds to make the right decision. And then it's up to the greater good to figure out who the crazy people are. But most of us are normal. Or
I don't know about that.
Typical, I guess you might say, within a certain realm of typical aspect.
I'm 100% common.
When it comes down to it, you guys would help your neighbor. You try to do the right thing in life. It's like,
no, my neighbor has a hair sign up, so I'm not helping her no more. Fuck her.
That's where you.
Well, I mean, one of them gave you half a case of fucking peanut butter whiskey, so I know you like some of you.
That's my good neighbor.
Oh, the good neighbor. Right.
He has a Trump sign.
No. Did you put it
there? Actually, to be truthful, I'm very proud of my neighborhood. It's not political one bit. I'm happy about that.
Wow.
I haven't seen any signs in my neighborhood either.
Yeah.
Apparently, somebody did put up a Trump sign, and it got people riled up.
Dude, the 9/11, the neighbor on the other corner of the street from me put up Osama bin Laden hung from a noose like a little doll.
Mm-hmm.
And that thing got ripped down so many times, and he got so much angry people come up to him and come after him. I'm like, why? What's wrong with the narrative that he doesn't like the dude that potentially, bombed us?
Is there a bunch of Muslims in the neighborhood or something?
It hurts my feelings. That's why.
That was Ellicott City, Maryland. I mean, I'm sure there's Muslims in the community, but I mean,
who knows?
That's it was an odd experience for me as a kid. I always just thought it was funny.
Yeah, nobody wants political signs because they just make people hate each other, and we don't want that kind of vibe in the neighborhood.
Yeah, and as soon as one person puts a sign up, another neighbor's going to put another sign. It just
you solved that with the HOA, right?
No, I don't have an HOA.
I do.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Do they regulate McDonald's in your HOA?
No, they don't.
Oh,
actually, I don't really know. There's a zillion rules, so who knows, really?
Right. That's like.
Do you follow them like strictly?
You have to.
I don't know that I do. I keep my house reasonably presentable. I understand that if I make major changes, I have to present it to the HOA, a proposal for them to approve it first. So there's a few things that, they're just common sense. If you do that, you're in good shape.
Can I stop by with my pit bull?
See, I don't know.
You don't know? Oh, okay.
As long as
I assume you can, but I hope it's not a vicious pit bull.
Well, you had a big dog. They never made a problem about that.
No, there's a lot of big dogs. It's not the issue. It's vicious dogs would be the issue.
Chihuahuas are out. Mastiffs are in.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chihuahuas suck. Mastiffs suck. Just go with something medium, like,
Mastiffs don't suck. Stop.
What about those XL bullies? Those things are fucking dumb. They're too big.
I don't even know them.
Yeah. I can't say bulldogs are very high on the intelligent list. I've met some smart ones, but usually they're meat bags.
Well, the XLs are kind of scary.
Like extra large XL? Is that the XL means?
Yes.
Okay. So this is like a pit bull +1.
Right.
They are.
You can saddle them.
Now, did you when you got this place, it was an HOA already, or did it become an HOA?
No, it was.
All right.
It was born with an HOA.
Yeah. Everybody follows the Columbia model in Maryland.
And you got any of those crazy neighbors? I guess you follow the rules, but like trash cans have to be off the curb by 11 a.m. kind of stuff.
I mean, nobody gets bent out of shape because, I mean, the only time people don't maintain their lawn or something is when they're going through some crisis, health crisis or something. So other neighbors will help out. So it's not the kind of place where people are just looking to trip somebody up. Not everybody, I don't keep my lawn the nicest, nor the worst. My neighbor on one side he loves his lawn. He's out there with every blade of grass, making sure it's perfect, and it shows. He's got a beautiful lawn, and he does that with all his property. I'm not that. I keep it. It should look okay from the curb. It shouldn't look like it needs maintenance. So that's the general rule that most people do. But some people prefer to not, for example, not put herbicide and pesticide on their lawns. So the result is a lawn that doesn't have as much grass. It has more weeds, but if they keep it mowed, it looks fine.
Used car oil is way better than Roundup.
Well, Roundup kills everything. You see, the key is to kill just the weeds and not the grass.
Yes.
So there's variation, and nobody gets too bent out of shape about it.
See, in my neighborhood, I have a lot of older people that are retired that have all the time in the world to work on their gardens and stuff. I don't. And I let my grass grow a little bit. I don't use seeds. I don't do none of that stuff. I got my neighbor, you going to cut that grass? I'm like, I never have to water my grass. And guess what? My grass is always green.
I smoke
Mhm.
grass. I don't cut it. Get out of my face.
The whole neighborhood smokes grass. I'm the only one that doesn't.
Oh wow. What are the laws up in PA? It's not recreational, is it?
I don't know. My son has a doctor's note,
Yeah.
so I guess it's
Get that at Taco
medical
Bell.
still. Medical.
Yeah, you just go to Taco Bell. You're like, I want some really nasty burritos and a medical license. They're like, all right, that'll be $600.
He got his online.
There
I'm
you go.
depressed and I can't sleep. That was what he used,
Right,
and he got it.
right. I'm thinking about voting in the upcoming election. They're like, all right, here on the house.
You might want some cocaine too.
Yeah, here you get the super deluxe package.
Well, he did ask me, should I register? I'm like, do you want to? Like, if you have no need to, you're gonna get your ass in jury duty like that, though.
No, it's driver's licenses now.
No, it's registered. Well, Pennsylvania, everyone I know that's not registered to vote, they've never been called to jury duty.
Wow.
God damn it! I want to be called to jury. I want to send somebody to prison, but they never called me in my whole fucking life.
When you say that, though, in the prep room, when you say that exact phrase, they usually just let you go and give you your $5.
I know better than to say that in the prep room. That's just what you and I know.
Right. I'll show up to that courthouse. I'll be like, Dan wants to put y'all in prison, and I'll just walk out. That ship that hit the bridge, the Francis Scott.
Yep.
I saw an article that they're suing them now. Finally, you see that?
There's 2 lawsuits now. The city, or is it the city? Some government is suing them, and apparently, like someone else some private organization is suing them.
Does that mean that an aspect of investigation is over? Did they wait a certain period of time to do this
No, it doesn't mean that.
It seems like it took a long time for them to want to have some reparations.
The NTSB released a preliminary report, but it had no conclusions. It just had facts.
Was it a negligence? Was it what was there?
No, it wasn't that type of thing. It just said this is what happened at this time. It did note the troubles they had in port before they set out. And from it, you can reach some conclusions. But, a lawsuit is the start of a negotiation, basically, between the people you're suing and the people who are doing the suing.
Do you know either of those groups and what they would use the money for? Like, is it the city to rebuild the bridge?
Well, the city, it's a state. The state built the bridge. I don't know. The city, of course, sustained tremendous economic damage from the port being closed for a long time. And, the amount of economic damage they sustained is more than the company is worth. So no matter what they sue, they're not going to recover. They're not going to be made whole. That's not possible. So I don't know exactly who's suing. I didn't look up to see exactly who the plaintiffs are in these suits.
Right.
And perhaps there'll be more suits. Maybe the state is waiting for their time. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not going to dig too much into that because I'm no longer in Maryland. Doesn't really affect me anymore, and it seems like I don't know what the end effect for you guys is besides having to travel a little bit longer to get to the same destination.
Yeah, it's mainly for trucks carrying hazardous cargo. They are prohibited from using the tunnels, which are the other shortcut. And there's 2 of them.
Right.
And this bridge is basically built approximately in the same spot, a little bit south, but basically in the same spot as the tunnels are. And it was where trucks carrying hazardous cargo used it to get to the other side of the river.
Right.
And of course, people who lived or worked near the roadway also used it because it was convenient.
Right, but at the end of the day, your commercial industrial is eating the bill.
Right.
Right.
Trucks that have hazardous cargo, they have to go all the way around the other way, which
Of
is
695
which is probably 40 or 50 miles out of their way.
on one of the shittiest roads I've ever driven. Not shitty quality, but the traffic experience of 695 is
It's terrible.
It's terrible. I've never any 95, like 495 is bad and 695 is bad. 95 can be bad, but not the same experience. I haven't experienced California traffic, so I don't know what it's like over on the West Coast, but
Parking lot.
yeah. Here, like if I have to stop to pull out on the highway, on the road that's closest to me, it's like something major is happening.
Maybe I'll move.
Yeah,
Buy
it's
a
nice.
home on your property.
Yeah,
I'm sick of traffic.
When shit hits the fan, man, we got you covered.
That's right.
You have are you excited for your upcoming event?
Which event?
I don't know how much I'm allowed to talk about it, or if anything. Just you have a libertarian.
Oh, Sunday. Yeah. I mean, I may or may not go, but I am excited for the event.
Okay, and it's still on for weather.
Yes, it is. It's, as far as I know, it's still scheduled to happen in DC.
Yeah, I'd go for the food trucks at least. Another question I have is Chase Oliver. You're backing that pony, and I'm curious if I've heard nothing from him about him at all. I'm curious if you.
Yeah, I mean, he's a libertarian candidate. He has no budget, so you have to go to his webpage to hear what he has to say.
And I'm guessing you're doing that.
Yeah, I mean, he's just got a totally predictable libertarian platform, and that's what he is. So he's going to do it if he were elected. There's no chance of him, flip-flopping, for example.
If he gets 5%, does that really mean anything for the future? Because I've heard this thing where, like, if the Libertarian Party actually gets a bump in their percentage, that will increase the bump then again the next voting season. But to me, that doesn't have any meaning whatsoever. It's just the situation at the time.
It's a possibility that if you get a decent amount, say 5%. I don't know about campaign matching funds. I don't know how that works. But although I will vote for Chase Oliver, he's not what you would call a charming or that kind of a candidate. He's not going to inspire anybody with his rhetoric or his speeches. So I think you'll have a hard time really getting a decent amount of votes. But you'll get my vote in Maryland. So
what do you think of Tucker Carlson?
I don't like him. I think he's dishonest and just like any other journalist. Only his audience. His audience is the right, but he's like the MSNBC dudes. It's the same quality of. He looks at his audience and caters to them.
For me, he's like Alex Jones, but more grounded. Like not as extreme in topics covered and this and that, but
he's smarter than Alex Jones, but that really doesn't.
I just see him moving towards political, and like even 4 years from now, if he ran for president, it wouldn't surprise me.
I would be surprised.
You guys would both be surprised.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't see a journalist ever running for president. There's too much. I would find it hard.
It's already in politics, though, right? Like it's already very political.
He talks about them.
Right.
Yeah.
He's in the heat of it. His purpose is to talk about the politics.
I'm not a big Tucker fan one bit.
I don't expect him to run.
A cup of tea has some advice for you there on the side there, T or Dance when you get a chance.
Yeah, I actually I've had 2 other colonoscopies, so I'm an old hat at it.
He already had his happy place.
I'm 62.
How old am I supposed to get that?
Yesterday.
50, 45.
Oh,
I have a family history, so I have to.
Oh, okay.
So they insist that I get one every 5 years. I think that's bullshit, but it's not. I have good insurance, so it's not that expensive. So
it's all about the drugs.
Do you get put to sleep?
Yes. The actual colonoscopy is a breeze. They give you for me, they give me propofol. You go right under. There's never any pain. You come out. So
the bitch is the day before. You can't drink or eat or anything, right?
It's the prep that's terrible. They give you a sort of super laxative. That basically you're buckled into the toilet for hours and hours and hours and hours.
What are you allowed to eat? You said low residue. Like, what does that mean?
Low residue is before the final day. Low residue means no fiber. It should be white or clear. So,
if you don't
white stuff with white flour, I can have tofu.
Okay,
so that's my protein.
I was going to say,
but even tofu is higher fiber than they would like. But I have to have something, so that's what I have.
But at the same time, if you have a high fiber diet and you're pushing out all the stuff that you need to, you can clear yourself at the last 3 days, and I would think that would be fine.
Well, I've never had a problem with the prep. It's not like hey, I had this as my diet. Can I have a different prep? Then they're not going to spend an extra 20 seconds on your case. Here's the guides.
There's a pamphlet
guideline. Here's the prescription to cause you to have explosive diarrhea for 6 or 7 hours.
You're welcome.
And we'll see you on the morning.
Yeah, what you got to do is you get that half gallon of tea with that yellow sticker on it. You drink one of those bottles, and you'll be peeing out your ass for 3 days straight.
I remember the first time I did this, and I started drinking this stuff, and you're supposed to drink like half a gallon at that time. There was a ton of it. And I was like, this isn't too bad. And then maybe after an hour or 2 of drinking it, I could not get any more down. It was just anything I put down was coming right back up. It was so disgusting. So I don't have any such expectations now. I know but the prep is the entire unpleasantness. The actual colonoscopy is.
But isn't that stuff you couldn't get down? Wasn't it like pineapple flavored or something delicious, like cherry?
It's artificial flavor. So
tastes like runts,
like Tang or something.
Yeah,
it's like this isn't bad, but man, if you got to drink more than a little bit of it, it's horrible.
Was Tang around? Was that the first crystallized sugar drink?
I have no idea.
Because I know that Kool-Aid and all that stuff was as old as I am. I'm not sure. I think Tang was like what they sent up to space.
Supposedly that was their commercials. I think Kool-Aid is probably older than Tang. Thank you, East Wind Farms. That's probably right.
Yes, I would agree with that. Yeah.
So all my anxiety is about is about prep day.
Yeah, I have more anxiety about going under. I know that the possibility of error is very small percentage. I'm not a gambling.
I do have a little bit of anxiety about that. Everybody should. I mean,
it's like
1%. No control, right?
More than 0.
When you're sleeping and something bad happens, you wake up. Unless you actually die in your sleep.
Right.
But when you're put under, you hope to come out, I guess.
Yeah.
You should just be like me and just don't even go to the doctor.
Yeah. Just give it to the
I'm
Lord, right?
perfectly fine.
Well, you're a young
Feel a little
man.
pain here and there, but that's okay.
You're a young man. My cancer risk goes up every year a little bit. So
yeah, our generation's growing a lot more stuff than your generation probably. So we'll catch up to you real quick. Did you guys see that Yemen was lobbing drones and missiles at U.S. ships today?
no, I didn't.
Yeah, U.S. warships come under attack. 3 U.S. warships came under attack Friday off the coast of Yemen by Iran-backed Houthi rebels who have disrupted commercial shipping in the region. No one was hurt. The warships shot down nearly 24 incoming missiles and drones while transiting a narrow entrance into the Red Sea. None of the vessels were hit. No sailors hurt. U.S. officials told this to Fox News. The USS Stockdale and USS Spruance, along with the littoral combat ship, the USS Indianapolis, were transiting the Bab al. I'm not going to pay to read the full story, but basically, apparently, like, is that like what at a certain point does America just like blow the crap out of something, or like is that like a no? Like,
this is the Houthis are not doing this on their own. They're doing this at the behest of Iran, who calls the shots. So it's clever of Iran to have a proxy. Proxies, we use a proxy in Iraq. I'm sorry, in Ukraine. We have their proxy.
Yeah.
So I mean, proxies are a smart move. In this case, Iran doesn't care if we kill every Houthi there is, except that it means that they don't have that proxy anymore.
Right, they'll have to pay the next guy. I will give you 3 goats if you shoot this repelled grenade into this boat.
Now it's at some point you can choose to punish the source, punish Iran. That's good. That's an escalation. So nobody really wants to do that. And this is the game of chess. Iran knows that we don't want to escalate, so they'll take advantage of that by pushing their proxies to do this stuff
until they damage.
They're always they're going to get right up to the boundary, and who knows how close they're going to get. So,
right.
There's
a young girl that's our senior in high school that was emotional today talking to me on the internet, and she was very worried and concerned and crying. That her life basically is over and meaningless because any day Russia's going to nuclear strike everybody and we're all going to die. And I'm like, what is taking her to this space in her head? Like, I know that the news is talking about how we're giving the green light to Ukraine to use long range missiles. And, I guess if that is used incorrectly or period, then that then leads to escalation and then Russia's going to retaliate. But in my mind, I don't have that. There's no fear in my mind of that even really being on the table.
That's very remote. My objection is that we should stop getting closer to the line
to push the envelope. Right.
Right. That's my objection. I don't think we're close, and I think still both sides, including the Biden administration, want to avoid getting close to those lines. So, sanity is still prevailing, but I'm concerned that we need to stop the escalation.
Is there no line like that in the backing of the Israeli war? In the Israeli response?
For who?
If the United States is backing Israel and Israel is pushing back against the Hezbollah or Iran backed, Hezbollah, is there a line there also where Iran is going to push a button, or do they not have a button to push? Or
they don't have a button to push. Israel has all the buttons.
So that's the difference.
Yes.
Okay, I'm just curious where the line is. Like in your mind, I feel like you have a better knowledge of the history of the back and forth of Israel and Islam.
No, I mean, the concern in Israel is that Iran knows how to build nuclear weapons, and they don't want to let to the point where they actually do it. But I think his current plan is to simply have more and better nuclear weapons, so that if Iran ever were to use a nuke, um, Israel would survive, with tremendous casualties, but Iran would not survive.
In the game of chess, if we were to look at this as a game of chess, if the United States was using Israel as a proxy to let them push forward and back them to push forward to destroy the production and process progression of nuclear capabilities of Iran, that seems like it would be a valid chess move.
Yeah, I think the U.S. does not want Israel to do that. I think they don't want Israel to attack Hezbollah. I think it's for us. It's just more a headache that we don't need.
So you've actually seen that narrative somewhere in your feeds of politicians in the United States pushing back against the Lebanon front.
Yeah, you have to. It's somewhat camouflaged, but you'll see it. You'll always see, like, it'll be a source in the State Department, and will say that we would like to see a ceasefire or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Then there will always be another source or a public statement that says we fully back Israel's right to self-defense. And we won't, and that's kind of a vague statement. We won't qualify it. And so that's the kind of, that's how it's kind of finessed.
So if you're already experiencing, like, reading between the lines of they're not being comfortable with it, but backing them anyway, politically, what could you see being a step too far for Israel for that to no longer be a between the lines thing, but a upfront backing away from?
You mean where the U.S. will back away from them?
Yeah, basically, condemning.
No, there won't. Nothing. There is no
Nothing.
line. They can invade Lebanon, and we will still make the same qualified statements. On the one hand, an unnamed source might say, "This is a disaster. We never wanted them to do this. We're told them not to." And then, on the other hand, someone will come publicly, the president or the Secretary of State will say, "We support Israel's right to self-defense."
Because, I mean, do you ever look at Israel as United States in the Middle East? Because it was seeded by the United States, correct? Its ability to exist in the first place was because of the United States. Did we leave ourselves there as a presence?
Not really. I mean, it was the U.S. and the U.K. were, behind the creation of Israel. More the UK, I would say.
Okay. Yeah.
But we have supported them militarily since a long time.
I would think that they would do the same.
60s.
I would think that they'd be almost like happy to return the favor if we ever needed them.
They have given us plenty of
information and technology.
Yes,
yeah.
Absolutely.
Did you see? You didn't see the speech. Go ahead.
That doesn't mean that it's necessarily a good deal for us, but they have given us technology. I'm personally, aware of it. So But that, we need to act in our own best interests, not in somebody else's best interests. And
Yes.
I think we believe that we are doing that in Israel, but um, things change.
I mean, yes, at any time, if the United States is doing something to its own detriment, I would think that that would be very important to not do those things.
See, I don't really know what the long term strategy is for Israel. That's what concerns me.
I don't know what our
They,
benefit of it is besides keeping an ally. I don't know how we would benefit from any of it.
no, I don't. I don't know what benefit. We don't really. I don't know that we get much benefit other than we keep an ally, and I'm not sure the ally is all that valuable. I mean, I certainly support Israel, but that doesn't mean that the United States is really getting more than it loses. The trade offs are really in our favor.
I understand your point with not knowing the end goal either. I've seen the request for ceasefire that Netanyahu has offered, which is basically never going to happen. It's a demilitarized zone of 7 kilometers, all military personnel pulled back beyond some river I can't remember the name of, and then UN sanctioned 1701 or something like that. All those 3 have to be met, and then that will be.
Yeah, I mean that's short term. The problem is that Iran is playing the long game, and they now have an army to the south of Israel in Hamas. They have an army to the north of Israel in Hezbollah. They have their own troops in Syria to the east, and all those armies are getting stronger and more powerful.
Right.
And
I mean, the Hamas army in the south, is that still a thing?
Not today, but after Israel pulls out, they'll just reconstitute.
Right.
It's been likened to mowing the lawn. Every so often, Hamas gets too bold, the grass gets too high, and they have to mow the lawn every 20 years.
Apparently, it's going to be 10 years just to pull all the rubble out or something ridiculous.
Right. But the last time they mowed the lawn, Hamas was much weaker. This time, Hamas was a lot stronger than they were the last time. The next time, in 10 or 20 years, they'll be even much stronger.
So it's taking them longer to mow the grass, but the period of time that the grass stays mowed is the same.
Yeah, I would think for the most. I mean, it doesn't have to be. There's no guarantee of that.
If it literally takes decades just to rebuild the area, then they have nowhere to hide for that long.
Well, it would take a normal organization decades to rebuild the area. The Palestinians get tremendous amounts of international aid, so they can steal a lot of it. So it doesn't work as well as it could, but they'll rebuild in not decades, but
decade.
Not even that. I'd say 5 years. They'll be
okay.
The place
so I'm about to get a lot of cheap concrete. Sadly, wasn't meant to be a joke, but yeah. I listened to the speech that Netanyahu did to the UN 2 days ago, roughly, and it was an interesting speech because I didn't expect him to basically give the middle finger to the UN chamber. I didn't know that you do that when you're talking to the UN, and he made very bold stated points that they're a swamp basically and they're pieces of shit, paraphrasing.
Yeah.
And I was like,
good for him. They do suck.
Wow. Like what? I don't know how the UN is involved in any of it, or if they're just a bunch of people in a club that make a lot of backroom deals and other people have to deal with it, or like I honestly don't know how the UN works and how it goes down, but I believe that the power of the UN is getting stronger. It's basically the global governing system, and it's gaining more power. Even the United States has allowed it to sign the Future Pact or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's not. We don't. Most Americans don't have a high opinion of the UN.
Because
never have.
Because of sovereignty issues.
I mean, they're seen for what they are, which is a collection of, corrupt potentates and
Unelected officials, right?
clowns, dictators, which is what it is, really. In terms of numbers of countries, most of those countries are, why would anyone listen to what their opinion is?
I mean, unless they run those nations. Do they run any
They
nation?
don't run any nations. No, they do have a lot of money, which they can, use to. The Palestinians got a lot of money.
So what's a peacekeeper then?
It's just somebody who stands in the middle of two warring parties
with weaponry.
Yeah, but they don't fire.
Because of rules of engagement, they're not allowed to, or
they're not allowed to. The usual rules of engagement is that they're not allowed to fire unless they're defending themselves.
Right. See, this is all like the history I've never learned.
So, for example, in Serbia, when the Bosnian town of Srebrenica was overrun by Serbs, the Serbs just had execution lines where they just took all the men and mowed them all down, and it was like the Nazis in World War II.
Yeah, it seems like the old way of things.
And there were UN troops there, but they didn't do anything because the Serbs didn't attack the UN troops.
Right.
And those were the rules of engagement.
They're a foreign entity inside of a nation.
Right.
And their rules of engagement, like, I don't know. Yeah, like you're I don't even know how large these forces are in the first place. Is it like 15 dudes with rifles, or is it like thousands?
It's thousands, but they're usually much smaller than the warring parties themselves.
Right. Do you think that the projection into the future is that the UN power will continue to grow, or is the UN something that's like a dying breed, or like what do you see it as?
I think the UN's power is a function of how much the United States and Western Europe pay attention to them.
Right. And it sounds like we're paying more attention to them then.
I don't think so. I think it has been in decline for a long time. I think they're still seen as useful, but hardly as influential. Not influential.
So there's two fronts. There's the WHO, and then there's the UN. And my understanding is that the United States has already given the WHO the ability to dictate emergency situations like the next pandemic.
I have not heard that.
And the UN
and that would be unthinkable, actually.
Right. So. That would be an issue with sovereignty. That would be us, some Joe Schmo that we had no election aspect into, and he's telling us what to do. I can't see it.
But there's also, even if the UN thought we had ceded some sovereignty to them, they have no way of enforcing it, because we would just, what are they going to do? They don't have an army.
Well, who makes up the peacekeepers?
They're member states that volunteer troops to them, but these aren't the best troops.
Right, rent-a-cops.
Well, they're not that bad. They're typically trained troops from those countries, but they're not meant to be a threat to the countries they're in.
So it's just fear-mongering.
Yeah.
The articles and the aspects of losing sovereignty are fear-mongering.
Well, I mean, for fear, it's good to be diligent and to be on top of it, and to not be not be complacent. I agree, but no, I don't think this is an issue.
Where does NATO fit into that realm? Very,
And
very different.
It's entirely separate. It's a military organization.
It's a pact, right? It's an
It's a
agreement.
pact, right? But it's a lot like the peacekeepers in the UN in the sense that their forces are made up of the NATO countries, their regular armed forces.
Right.
Um,
And
but
the fear mongering for Ukraine, Russia. I mean, how long has that war been going on now? Year and
well,
months, year and
it
a half.
started in a small way in 2014, and then in 2022, Russia invaded in big time Ukraine. So
in the month of November.
I don't remember exactly when.
Right. So it's close on 2 years roughly. So
Right.
the mongering or the fear mongering for that, or the real concern, however you look at it, is that NATO would get involved.
Yes.
That it would be pulled into it. Is that narrative still
Well,
on the fence?
it appears at times as though they want to be pulled into it.
I mean, to me, it seems like they're just
February,
pushing
thank
the
you,
envelope
Dr.
on the definition of being in it already. If you're
Yeah.
supplying 80% of the munitions and power to one side of the war, are you not already in it?
Well, that's not NATO. That is the individual countries themselves.
Okay.
And I mean, this that's what we did in the Vietnam War.
Okay.
Russia supplied Vietnam with everything, and they so there is precedent for that, but it certainly isn't an act of peace, and it certainly isn't an act of negotiation, and it certainly isn't going to keep Russians and Ukrainian soldiers alive, and it certainly isn't going to fix the world economy and the Ukrainian economy and the Russian
Right.
economy. I mean,
The
it's still making war where war is a terrible thing that should always be, everything should be done to avoid it.
and literally making or increasing. What's the other word?
Escalating is it?
Escalating. Yeah. Right. So, before Mr. E said something, but before I read that, Putin's response to the United States giving the green light to Ukraine for using long-range weapons, missiles, and Putin's response saying, paraphrasing, basically, we will respond against NATO if we're hit by these missiles.
Right.
How does that work as a legitimate threat? That's a fair deal.
I don't think. I mean, I'm sure that is being parsed by each country as best they can and using their intelligence services to find out what that means. I doubt they think it means what you're worried about.
Well, I mean, people are thinking they're going to hit the UK. That's like going
Yeah,
from 1 to
they're
12.
not. I think that would be insane. That would be insane for Russia.
So it'd be the easy pickings. Who's the easy pickings?
Poland.
Is Poland an easy
Perhaps.
picking?
Not really, but they're sure going to be a lot easier than the UK.
Right. It would be the same statement, though.
It would trigger a war with NATO. That's the problem. Poland
Right.
is also a NATO member.
Right.
But it could, I think he will respond. I don't know how.
So we haven't
be
fired these
proportionate. It will be proportionate. And
We haven't
for
fired-
example, he might support. He might provide arms to Hezbollah.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of things he could do.
Right.
That would be sort of proportionate.
Or, finance instead of arms, financing the
Right.
Houthis.
I don't know what exactly he would do, but
it would be a chess move. It would be his move.
To me, it's pointless at this point to continue the war. So,
right,
I
move it to the table.
I would like to believe that the Biden administration is trying to find a solution. I don't see any evidence of that.
Mr. E says, look at us foreign policy, look at US foreign policy about the Middle East and taking out the heads of the country that they put in as they were talking about basing their currency on the gold dinar. Do you understand that?
I'm not.
Who's the gold dinar?
There's a theory that the U.S.'s goal is to maintain the dollar as the currency of international trade.
Right. I mean, Trump's one of his whole platforms is to maintain the U.S. dollar.
I've never seen that as a serious reason for any actions that the U.S. has ever undertaken. It might be a long-term goal, but
so you mean anywhere in the world through history?
Anywhere in the world through history, correct?
Okay. And Cup of Tea says Taiwan. I haven't paid attention to Taiwan for weeks now, at least. Operation Hellscape was the last I heard with the drone defense of Taiwan, but I know I did see something about New Zealand sending Navy ships through the Taiwan Strait or something, and some other countries sending ships through there. It's just that whole theory of war breaking out in Taiwan seems to be a weak distraction at this point.
Yeah, and that's another area where, I'm not a fan of China. I think they are, they're a communist country, and I'm very much a pro-freedom person. However, China is enormous, and Taiwan is small, and China is getting better and better at weaponry.
Apparently not building subs though.
They'll get it all. They get anything we can do, they'll eventually figure it out too. So
right, it's just time.
Just time, exactly.
So they're biding time. I don't see why they would, if they're not.
I think that's their plan, is to simply bide time until it's a complete.
Right.
They'll simply knock on the door and say, now is the time, and nobody will be able to say no.
Right. The only way, yeah. I agree. I don't, because I think that if China started to play chess through war, even if we were using proxies through Taiwan.
So I think the right thing to do, is to be facilitating the reintegration of Taiwan into China. And the time to do that is now, while Taiwan can still resist.
What does facilitating it into China mean, though? They want to keep their individualism.
Yeah, I think that's the start of the negotiations. No one's going to be forced at this point to do anything. So right. This is the time when you could discuss reunification of Taiwan into China.
But
Taiwan definitely gets to say what that is.
Okay, but what does reunification of Taiwan into China mean if Taiwan remains its own sovereign state?
I don't know what it means.
What would be even the benefit of them being a part of China? Why even have them be a part of China?
Because then China would not one day go to war against Taiwan, and violence would not be the solution that is ultimately undertaken.
Unless they want
both sides benefit from a peaceful solution. And when both sides benefit, that means there are trade-offs to be done, to be won.
Right.
If China didn't care, really just wanted to go to war, then there would be no point negotiating. They would go to war.
Right. Is it about, I mean, do you know if it's even about politics, land, resource, or technology? Like what?
Oh, I think it's more with Taiwan and China. It's more politics there. It's a point of pride, of national pride, that for the Communist Party of China that Taiwan is considered a part of China, and they will once again be part of be ruled by
Right.
the main
Quashing of dissent.
right, and
Right.
it's also an important part of the People's Liberation Army's doctrine as well.
That's
And
Taiwan.
China, that's China's army.
Okay, how does that relate?
Well, China is not exactly, it's not like the US where the army is totally subservient to the civilian government. The People's Liberation Army has a big say in what happens in China.
And that's the political leaders of that military power, or the people that make up the citizens that make up that?
It's the military leaders
Okay.
of the People's Liberation Army. They and the civilian government are sort of in a there's always a little competition there as to who controls things.
Interesting. They don't really sit at the same table, though.
They do, but there are clearly two different power centers. It's not like in the U.S. where the military views itself as subservient to the civilian government, and the commander in chief in the U.S. is the president of the United States. It's not like that in China.
Why would China create a system where its military wouldn't be subservient?
Well, I think the military had something to say about that. I'm sure it's always the case that the civilian leadership is attempting to exercise control, and the military sees themselves as the guarantor of the revolution.
Well, the military is the nation. So the politics of the military, to me, are the only thing that matter in the end, because they're the ones that are going to fight for it to make it happen or not.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the exact balance of power between the two, and nor do I know the tensions that are between the two. But there are two different parties that have to be considered in Chinese negotiations.
It's interesting. Do you know of any other nations that operate that way?
Well, it's in a sense, like, for example, many nations were like that. The civilian government, like like any African state, for example, they're all very unstable. The governments are all very weak, and if the civilian government does something that the military doesn't like, there's often a coup, and the civilian government is kicked out. That happens
because
all the time.
There's nothing they can do about it besides catch a bullet.
It used to happen. It used to happen in some European countries like Spain, Portugal.
Conquistadors?
No, I mean in modern times.
Okay.
It happens in South America. It was also happened there. So
I'm curious how that related to the French Revolution, because that was against the church ruling power of the nation, instead of just military versus civilian political. And it's I'm curious how that relates to the UK also, because the UK, in my understanding through its history, the military power was always subservient to the ruling power.
Oh, yeah. The UK is, the military is subservient to the civilian. The UK is not like any of these other places. It's very stable.
And our model is basically based off of theirs, correct?
It is based off of theirs with, some changes made based on our revolution that we didn't like about theirs.
Right.
And there's
more power amongst the people.
But even every aspect of our law can almost be traced to British law in one way or another. Some of those aspects are explicitly to change them, but they have British law either as an inspiration or anti-inspiration. So
There's
yeah.
one more aspect I wanted to run past you because you're a liberal mindseted person. I was listening to a lecture and it was talking about people want human rights and they want more human rights. But the problem with installing more human rights is that it creates a bigger government because that government has to police the civilians doing those things. So from a libertarian mindset, human rights like you can't keep having more and more and more human rights. You basically have to have basic human rights, or you're going to have a controlled state. Does that make sense?
That's not what I would call human rights. Sound like government services is what you're talking about, not human rights.
Well, like,
I mean, the most important human right is to be left alone to be able to think and act as you please. It's, in other words, having a life that's private, that isn't observed and controlled by a central power like a government. So,
but as more
now, as people say, people talk about healthcare. That's a human right. No, it's not a human right in my point of view. It might be a service that everybody needs that you think can best be provided by the government, but it's not a human right.
But let's say the ideologies are more the aspect of the human rights I'm thinking of. Let's say all of a sudden we need a third bathroom because there's more than two genders, and that human right of that next gender needs its own space. So all of a sudden, there's a government aspect that has to facilitate that right that's been added to the list.
You mean to police people from abrogating that right?
To make sure that what they've given the people, what the people have asked for, is being upheld. They have to make sure. They have to facilitate the facilities being created on a federal level, and the state level, they're policing it to make sure that it's being honored. So that's a whole government. Government has to be created for each one of those things.
So it's true that there has to be, if you have a legal right, that there has to be some kind of enforcement mechanism for when that right is violated. And that's an issue for libertarians and for non-libertarians alike. It tends to, the more rights you have, the bigger government tends to grow in response. And big government is itself an engine that invades the private market to the detriment of people's choosing, having their own choices be
right.
The most important part. So, yeah, I mean that's an issue. It hasn't been a big issue in this country, but over time, yeah, our government has gotten bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
Right. The second aspect to it was, it seems in the old standard, humanity had to, with basic human rights being given, had to have a moral code or exercise ethical decisions on their own, and do what was right. And the new model is that the government will make sure that what they have decided is ethical is going to happen. So they have to exist to be there to implement those ethics. I don't know where America will go. I know that
I don't know either, but our system of federalism puts the states as the center of people's lives, and where their first, their government, their experience with government should predominantly be at the state level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, people do want to federalize everything, though.
What is their thought on that? The simplicity of it, giving up.
Well, I mean, their thought is that there's too much. States can, are different, and you won't have a consistent level of rights.
Right. Move to the one you like, though, right?
Well, moving is not that easy. Moving is hard.
Well,
People don't have the resources or the wherewithal,
but there's
or
still
the desire to move because they have family that live in a given state, for example.
I'm just saying there's still the option, even though it's not a simple option. Perhaps the option still exists when it's on a state level.
This issue comes up a lot with abortion, for example, and I don't object to there being a right to abortion in the country. I just think it's not in the Constitution, and we can't pretend it is. I think if you want a national right to abortion, it has to be consistent with the Constitution. So pass an amendment. If you want everybody in the country to have a right to an abortion.
And then the amendment is on the federal level, so it blankets every single state.
Yes. I mean,
but the states have to all agree on that to become a law at the federal level.
No, it doesn't have to be unanimous. Amendments don't have to pass unanimously.
It has to be majority.
It's beyond. It's just like some kind of super majority, like 2/3 or something. I can't remember. 3/4. I don't remember exactly what it is.
Okay. Well, yeah, I would like to see the understanding how the United States government is designed to function is awesome. Seeing how the checks and balances work, when it comes to the lawyer level and how they can fuck with shit and make things sound like that I don't like that aspect of it. Or when you see any aspect of corruption involved and it's just not a bunch of people that are trying to do the right thing working together to make that nation amazing. That sucks to see. And I feel like, but all I see is mostly spin. Like, I'm not sitting in these chambers and listening to it myself and any of that. But from the spin perspective, our nation hasn't functioned well for quite a while. I mean,
well, it's disappointing for me too. I'm not sure I would call call a done deal and we're done. The nation's finished, but it's been disappointing. There was a time in my lifetime when separation of powers was something that was jealously guarded by, and it was right up there with loyalty to party. So, for example, if you were in the Senate and you were a Democrat and a Republican, and say there's two senators, and the president, let's say he was a Democratic president, did something that might usurp this power of the Senate or might threaten to, those senators would unite, including the Democrat, against the president to trying to usurp the power of the Senate. They would protect their own.
Hold their power in the Congress.
That's right. They would regard their own power as senators as an important part of our constitutional heritage, and they would defend that.
You're saying that now they're just backing the horse?
What's that?
Now you're saying that they're basically just backing the horse, even at the
now there's much less of that. Now it's all about the party. And,
is that either of those scenarios are virtue signaling, right? It's just the word virtue signaling now feels like it's changed. Well,
I think it's not just virtue signaling; it's the way politicians think about their job. They no longer view themselves as that they're senators. I'm a member of the Senate. I'm a head. I uphold the privileges and prerogatives that the senators have.
So
I think they just view themselves as party apparatchiks who have power to do things that their party wants.
It would have sounded so much better if they were going to protect their hold of the Senate so that they can keep America strong instead of they don't want to lose their lifestyle.
You should look at the Watergate scandal in the United States to see what, certainly Republicans didn't like the fact that their Republican president was embroiled in this scandal, and they didn't want to come out against him. But you will see that they did their duty as and they held their hearings, and despite not liking it, they still did their part in our constitutional system.
So they took.
I don't have any confidence that would happen today, and it doesn't seem to happen today.
The Republicans took their own man, their own party out of the executive branch, Nixon. Basically.
I mean, certainly there were more Democrats that were gung ho for that, but there were Republicans involved in every aspect of it.
Was Nixon Republican or Democrat?
He was a Republican.
Right. So, but you're saying that the Republican Party in the Senate swallowed it and
Right.
dealt with it.
And the reason he resigned is because he would have been impeached and convicted.
I mean, wasn't the current Republican Senate going against Trump in that manner?
When?
There were some that were backing him, but there's also those that were not. It wasn't collectively that they were all for Trump.
Mm-hmm.
They would call them rhinos.
Yeah, that's maybe one or two.
Yeah, I mean, I'll have to look into the history of Watergate, and at the end of the day, who took the executive seat next? Was it the Democrat Party?
No, it was the vice president, Gerald Ford.
After Ford, though, was it the Democratic Party?
Ford ran after Nixon resigned in 1974, with 2 years left on his term. So Ford was the president, 74 until until the end of the term in 76. Well, 77.
And it looks like in 74 he pardoned Nixon.
He pardoned Nixon after he became president.
Isn't that a no-no? Was that?
Well, it was very controversial. One of the reasons why he lost the election. He then ran for president in 76 and lost to Jimmy Carter.
Right.
Certainly his pardoning of Nixon was
the nail in the coffin.
I don't know how important it was, but it wasn't very popular.
Why wouldn't he have waited so many years to do it after he was in? Like, why did he have to get him out that quick? Was he like death row or something?
What he said was he wanted to put the matter behind the country, and he wanted.
But that wasn't doing that really. That was bringing it to the forefront again, wasn't it?
Well, actually, it did. It ended all the prosecutions and all the investigations, and that was it.
On the judicial aspect of the nation.
In the hearings, and everything was done at that point.
So a cup of tea is saying that Nixon was better than Biden and Carter. I don't know why Biden's in that mix.
Nixon is a complicated figure who, Watergate, he might have been considered a great president, except for Watergate, which Watergate's no minor thing. So yeah, that counts.
What was the bread and butter of the or the meat and potatoes of the Watergate scandal? What was the information that wasn't? What did Nixon do wrong? It's not clear what his role was in the initial burglary that started it.
Some of his henchmen from his re-election campaign burglarized the Democratic National Committee headquarters in the Watergate Hotel.
They stole stuff from it.
I think they were looking for dirt on McGovern.
Oh.
And the problem was that he then apparently, he might have argued that it wasn't, he never told them to do that, but it looked like he was very much involved in an attempt to cover it up.
So he got hands down protecting his stooges from a botched operation.
Right.
Yeah.
And
that's not a good look.
Probably the smoking gun that was Nixon recorded all his White House conversations.
Right.
and the
was
most
his
critical conversation where the details of Nixon's involvement in the cover-up would have been discussed was mysteriously erased. The so-called 18.5-minute gap.
Right.
And the explanation that his secretary, provided was so absurd that nobody believed it.
Now that's not like the cameras going down for Epstein, right? That's different.
No, she was like, I must have done this, and then I was doing that, and then I was reaching over there, and I must have used my foot to push the record
While
button.
I was giving him a sloppy blowjob, I accidentally bumped the tapes. That's terrible. Yeah.
Yeah. So
back a little bit, Mr. E said the Scottish claim of right is what the American Constitution grew from. In Scotland, we are sovereign. In the rest of the UK, they are subjects, and Parliament holds their sovereignty under king. What's interesting about the terminology of that is the Scottish claim of right, because the Scottish right is also very, that's masonry. I don't know if those two are related in any way, shape, or form, but I bet you they are.
Okay. Well, we know this is a thing with you, so.
Yeah, no, the Scottish, it doesn't matter, but that's interesting. Thanks, Mystery, for that. Yeah, I definitely didn't study history as I grew up. I was more interested in science. Nixon was better than Biden, and Biden, the country was split. How was G. Gordon Liddy, FBI, involved? I'm not familiar with that name.
He was one of the burglars.
One of the goons.
Right.
And was he pardoned as well?
Nope.
Okay, so the kingpin was pardoned for trying to cover it up, but the guys that did the action actually were convicted, and
I believe they were all convicted. I don't even know if they might have pled guilty.
Right. Yeah.
I think they were caught red-handed, if I remember correctly.
I'm just curious, like, what they were trying to steal from was it like for Nixon's next term in office, like getting dirt on his?
It was just to get dirt. That's what it was for, to find something to get dirt on him, which was insane because Nixon won that election by a landslide. I'll be done in a little bit.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, it was nice to get a history lesson here before you go. I appreciate it. Kelsey just joined in. He said China got no need to go to war. All our leaders work for their same puppet masters. So that's more on the deep state mindset.
So I'm gonna suggest we wrap it up. So
yeah, man.
My girlfriend's calling me.
Yeah, no, and live life, man. Yeah. I appreciate hanging out, and I'll see you.
Yeah, it's always fun to talk to you, RW.
Yeah, I'll look into Watergate a little bit before I go to bed just to see what I can find.
Okay. Yeah, I think you might find it interesting.
All right.
Take it easy, and good night to everyone out there, and especially the folks in the chat there. Cup of tea. East Wind Farms, Mr. E. Mr. Kelsey, I'm sorry we didn't get to have much time with you. I know you are a hardworking man, and that's what you were doing. And the English Bottle Cap and everybody else. You guys have a great weekend and a great week coming up. And hopefully we will see you all next week, probably Saturday, but I can't be absolutely sure. It's Smokesteve's show. Take care. Bye-bye.
Last Dance, if you're still there, dude, you got to kill the live feed, man. Oh no, I'll Discord him.